All right, everybody, welcome back to yet another edition of the Fringe Radio Show for the 29th of November. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving holiday and enjoyed a great meal and spent time with family. A beautiful weekend here in Salt Lake City. Beautiful day today. It feels almost like springtime, almost like spring or summer. It's just gorgeous out there. Anyway, Fringe Radio's here every Saturday night from 6 till 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8 o'clock till midnight Eastern Standard. I want to say good evening to all of our listeners that listen to us live via the Inception Radio Network, the Listen Live link at k-talk.com. We're on good old AM 630 here in Sandy, Salt Lake City. And, of course, our broadcast partner, Global 24 Radio. We broadcast on WRMI, 93.95 kilohertz in the International Shortwave Band. I want to say good morning to all of our listeners worldwide that listen to us and all the great emails that we have received from around the world. If you want to join the chat tonight, we've got a great show lined up, an unbelievable show lined up. You can go to www.inceptionradionetwork.com. The whole gang is there. We're ready to go. Of course, Fringe Radio covers anything related to the paranormal, ufology, alien and alien abduction, science and science fiction, cryptozoology, and conspiracies of all kinds, anything that's shrouded in just a little bit of mystery. You can find Fringe Radio on the World Wide Web at fringeradioshow.com. We're on Twitter as well. If you have a story, a sighting, or if you've got questions for our guest, go to the contact page on the website, and we'll make sure that we get your questions asked. The call-in number up and down the Wasatch Front, Southern Idaho, Davis and Weber counties, Utah County, 801-254-5855. That's 801-254-KTKK. All right, we have been talking about for several months about bringing to you something a little bit different. Of course, Fringe Radio has been on the air we're in our fourth year of broadcasting, and we have talked about paranormal and fringy subjects and ufology and science fiction, and we have decided that we need to add a little something new to the lineup, and it's an idea that we've been working on for a couple of years, and we just had to find the right people, and we did find the right people. And I hope we did. No, we found the right people, and we have the last Saturday of every month, we are going to present to you our show, or their show, called G.A.M.E, which stands for Game and Movie Empire. There's a new website coming. We'll talk about that a little bit. That'll be launching here in December. We're going to talk about gaming, movie reviews, all kinds of different stuff. Two great gentlemen that I had the honor to meet and work with now are Arthur and Alex. Alex Watson, his three major things that make him happy in his life: comedies, movies, and video games. Ever since he can remember, making people laugh, watching movies, and trying to beat Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the NES always seemed to make him feel good. Yeah. Waddy McFly, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, that's just a nickname.
Watt McFly has been involved with the improv since 2005, and he's gone on to do workshops with amazing improv teachers that have taught such greats as Steve Carell, Tina Fey, Chris Farley, and many, many more. He enjoys making short films on his YouTube channel, as well as gameplay videos. His favorite video game is the Grand Theft Auto series, or most anything done by Rockstar, as well as the Legend of Zelda series. Favorite movies include Guardians of the Galaxy, Rushmore, Fight Club, Dumb and Dumber, Hot Rod, Magnolia Snatch, Reservoir Dogs, Jaws, Jurassic Park, and the list goes on and on. But his favorite movie of all time is Back to the Future. He would like to thank his mother, or she would kill him otherwise, all his friends and family who have supported him, Utah Gamers Facebook forum, on the Facebook forum, and his friend Bradford Garrison. His partner, Arthur Kemp, is self-taught filmmaker and photographer. You can find him behind the camera filming videos and shorts with J-WAT Productions, but sometimes you'll see him in front of the camera or acting on stage as well. He comes from a large family and was born and raised in Salt Lake City, Utah. He enjoys watching movies, playing video games, and other nerdy pastimes, and is quite proud of his extensive collection of movies and video games. His favorite movies include Star Wars, Gremlins, Aliens, V for Vendetta, Lord of the Rings, and Pacific Rim. Some of his favorite video games include Half-Life 2, Portal, Star Wars Jedi Outcast, Super Mario Galaxy, and Return to Castle Wolfenstein. He's passionate about his love of all nerdy things and enjoys discussing and sharing his opinions with those around him. That's why I brought these two guys in, is because, again, trying to talk about technology and we're going to do just a lot of fun, cool things as we progress down the road here over the next several months. But with Comic-Con being so huge here in Salt Lake City, all over the world, really and truly, it's just amazing. Cosplayers and gamers and the kids of today, they really love this stuff. It kind of, I think it's the fantasy side for all of us that's out there, and it's just amazing what's there. So, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to these guys. I'm going to be sitting here relaxing. I've got a ton of questions for our guest in studio tonight, but Arthur and Watson, I appreciate you being here and doing what you're doing, and we're looking forward to seeing Game grow here with Fringe Radio. So go ahead and take it over, and I'll push the buttons and make sure that it all works for you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah, first we definitely want to say a big thank you to Pat from Fringe Radio. Without this, none of it would have happened. I mean, it was his idea. I mean, he's really pushed this and gone forward. So, I mean, we got to give a huge thanks to Pat over here at Fringe Radio.
Definitely. And thank you to everyone who may be listening for the first time, especially.
Oh, you've got plenty of listeners, trust me.
Well, it's our first show. So.
That's true.
You always get plenty of listeners. So.
I don't know.
Well, but we are very excited. So when Pat came to us and said, he wants to do this show, and he wants us to think of a guest. There was only one person that, first came to my mind. So, without further ado, I mean, we've talked about Arthur and I for enough, a long time. I'm very excited to have our very first guest on our show, local artist, one of my favorite artists, known him for quite a while. We want to introduce Chris Bodily. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing quite well. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome, Chris. So, let's just kind of tell the people just a little bit about yourself, like what you do, and I know that's kind of hard to say as an artist. You just say you draw stuff, but tell us tell us a little bit about yourself and things like that.
Yeah, so I'm a professional artist / illustrator. I do my style's pretty cartoony. Pop surrealism, something along those lines. But my website is Hat Robot, and I'm represented by the Hive Gallery. And so essentially what I do is I make illustrations, and I do some commission work for bands or for movies or things like that. And then the other half of the time I go to Comic-Cons, I go to art festivals, I go to farmers markets, and I sell my work. I sell prints of my work. So that's me.
Awesome. Also, we just wanted to say that Chris is going to be giving away some prints. We have some very nice prints here. Let's see.
Some awesome ones.
Chris gave me one when we came and gave me the opportunity to grab one, and his work is outstanding, unbelievable.
Thank you.
Definitely different, but different in a good way.
Thank you.
I mean, it shows. I'm no artist by any means, but the individuality of a person, and I want to thank you for what you gave to me. Beautiful, just beautiful stuff.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. When I started out, especially when I started going to the Comic-Cons, I didn't know if my work would fit in with the type of things that people were looking for. You know, I don't do action comics or anything like that. I do. It's a little bit more surreal, a little bit more cartoony, but I found that was actually an asset for me when I started going to the conventions, because there wasn't a lot of stuff that I was competing with directly. Right. So,
well, in Comic-Con too, just in general, and get your guys' opinion, but it's a pretty new thing, and when we talk about Comic-Con, we have some listeners who'll say, well, what is Comic-Con, and what's it really all about? Is it a bunch of nuts running around dressed up in uniforms and stuff? Well, yeah, it is, without a doubt. But it's really, and you guys can definitely back me on this, or put your opinions in on it, it's about comic books kind of brought to reality. I mean, comic books have been around since when? The 20s? When did the first Superman, 1920, 1930? I don't know when they first started.
Yeah.
But it's all the things that have spun up from those pretty back in the day, pretty cheaply drawn little booklets that we would buy for a dime and a nickel and a quarter.
And now they're worth millions of dollars.
Yes.
Well, Stan Lee, when he originally started making comics, his name is Stanley, but he didn't want to use his real name on the comics because he wanted to preserve his good name for his real art.
That's awesome.
So is he an artist?
Yeah. He started out as an artist, and now he's he's a producer.
Artist.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah, I think one of my favorite things about Comic-Con, and I mean, Chris has been my friend since college, but I mean, some of his biggest success has been coming from Comic-Con, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of talked about his art and how awesome it is and how it sticks out. So
we're going to take a quick commercial break. Our guest tonight is Chris
Bodily.
Chris Bodily. And we got a lot to cover tonight. Alex and Watson and Arthur and Pat and Chris, and we're all here, and we're going to talk about a lot of neat stuff. You're listening to Fringe Radio. You can check us out at fringeradioshow.com. We'll be back on the other side.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Arthur. I'm here with...
Oh, hey, I'm Waddy McFly. I'm here.
And we're here with Chris Bodily, who we are interviewing today. He's been telling us all about his art. First thing we wanted to say is he's going to be giving away a few of his prints. So those of you that want to call in and ask him a question, and go ahead and like him on Facebook, and then at the end of the show we will announce the winners for that.
And what was that phone number again, Pat?
801-254-5855.
Cool. So let's just start with Hat Robot. Where does that name come from? What does it mean? What is that?
Yeah, so Hat Robot, essentially when I was in high school, I wrote a comic zine called Hat that I would produce and sell to my friends for $2 a piece. And so then later when I started my website, it became Hat Robot. But I've kind of always been under the impression that rather than the name creating the product creates the name. And so Hat Robot is essentially synonymous with my artwork, and the same way that Pepsi, I'm sure it has its origins, but the word Pepsi doesn't mean anything if it's not associated with the drink. So I like to think that Hat Robot is my work.
And for as long as I've known you, that kind of seemed to be, not Hat Robot, but we always called you Robot, growing up. So, I've always liked that name. So, have you, you've been around, and Comic-Con's been around for a while. Have people been recognizing your work and recognizing you as things have been going?
I think I'm represented by the Hive Gallery, and my illustration name is Hat Robot, and I'm Chris Bodily. So, depending on who the person is and how they know me, then as long as they're seeing my artwork and they're enjoying it, then I'm satisfied. But yeah, I think there's been some great exposure lately. It's fun to go someplace and see your own artwork pop up in a coffee shop that you're not expecting it to. So,
yeah, definitely.
Is it a call? You want to take a call?
Oh yeah, we got a caller.
Right.
Hey, thanks for calling in. What's your name?
My name is Jake.
Hey, Jake, how you doing? You have a question for Chris?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Are you more of an Xbox One kind of guy or a PS4 kind of guy?
Oh, well, right now I'm still an Xbox 360 kind of guy. But I love games, and so, to pit one against the other seems, why not enjoy them all for all that they have to offer? So,
right.
Is that a way to sidestep the?
Yeah, it is. So, do you play more of solo player games, or are you more online sort of thing?
I prefer to play by myself. I'm kind of a really competitive person, so so if I'm playing online against people and if I'm not good, then I'm just going to be upset, and then so I try and compete with myself when I'm gaming, things like that. So
gotcha.
Awesome. Well, great. Thank you and you said your name was Jake?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Jake, for calling us in, and we'll get in touch with you later, and thank you.
Not a problem.
Great. Well, awesome. Yeah, please keep those phone calls coming in. So you kind of already mentioned how your business got started, but tell me, and we kind of talked about Comic-Con, so tell me, what is your influences? What are stuff that you use to, because I've seen animals, I've seen old people, I've seen very pretty women, you kind of go in a really big range. What inspires you to draw?
I started out drawing when I was a kid, reading comic books and watching cartoons on TV, Scooby-Doo, He-Man, Ninja Turtles. And when Simpsons came out, I would record the episodes on VHS, nice. And then I would pause the episode and then draw the characters that I saw on the screen. So my style is very cartoony, but as I grew up, my work became a lot more loose, a lot more cathartic, a lot more emotionally driven, and so I still have that simple cartoon line work, but in a much more complex adult approach to it.
I think that's the best thing and I think that's the best description I've heard of your art. Everyone who's ever come to me and being how would you describe his art? I'm because it's so unique and it's so different. So I think that's the perfect description in my mind.
My rep over at the Hive Gallery likes to say that we specialize in the super cute and the super creepy at the same time. So
yeah, that's perfect.
I agree. I mean, I love your adorable, like, creepy monsters. One of my favorite prints of yours is the Count, and he's just like the Count from, like, the Muppet Sesame Street. He's like sucking the blood of another Muppet. And yeah, it's adorable and really morbid, but yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, my favorite print of yours is it's a shark, and he's like has like a suit on, and he's sitting down, and I think he's eating an ice cream or something, but he's like crying, and he's like wearing Converse, and like I don't know, I just love that. That's one of my favorite prints, and I really like when you draw people for some reason. Like I like the monsters too, but you draw like people. Like have you ever just like walked down the street and you're like, I'm going to draw that guy or something like that? I don't know. What are you?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the great things about doing things the way that I do them. I'm freelance and I'm self-employed, so essentially I draw whatever I'm feeling. If I listen to something on the radio or I read something interesting, any conversations that I have, all of that will feed into my work, and so I can kind of do whatever I want to do. And I think essentially because I'm doing it, it all ends up being part of my style in some way or another. So I don't limit myself to any one thing, but whatever I want to pursue, I can do that.
Awesome. And I love that. I love that you said that you're not, I don't like being limited, and I think art, when it's limited, it doesn't reach its full potential. So I love that you said that, that's like that.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I was very interested in knowing is, like, how do you get from a blank sheet of paper to the finished product? What do you use? What kind of artist tools, or is it digital? Do you just start with the finished image in your mind, or do you just start drawing?
Yeah, I think my artistic process may be very different from a lot of other artists, because my work is very train of thought. I sit down and I just start drawing before I know what I'm doing. I just put down some lines, and as the image starts to form, then I figure out what it is that I'm drawing afterwards. So really, the information that I'm trying to get out through my art is all in the line work itself, not so much the image that I'm creating. And that maybe sounds like an artsy-fartsy approach, but I do everything I do. First of all, by hand with pen and ink, so that I can't erase my mistakes, so that I have to embrace everything that I do, and I have to incorporate it into the final image. And so after I do the line work by hand, then I'll scan it into my computer and color it with Photoshop. One, because Photoshop is a cheap way to color up your work. You don't have to pay for paints and things like that. And also, the type of work I do is not the type of thing that somebody would pay thousands of dollars for and hang above their fireplace. It's the type of work that's really popular with college kids and high school students and the lowbrow crowd. And so doing things that way, I can produce an image, and I can make prints that I can make available to the type of people that are looking for my work.
Awesome. I really like that you mentioned you kind of already know the demographic of what you're trying to reach. Do you think that kind of influences? Because you don't seem to Shane of that kind of demographic. I mean, I'm that demographic. So I mean, like, what do you say is like, what do you hope? And I don't know if I'm reading in too much of art per se, but what do you hope people take away from your art, and what do you hope? I mean, because that kind of generation seems, and like I said, I'm agreeing that I agree that demographic is like perfect for what you're going for. What do you hope that people take away from your art?
I think art can resonate in very different ways for any individual viewer, and so a kid can take away something very different than an adult that may have had similar experiences to me. But one of the great things about that the advent of the World Wide Web is that you can connect. My work is not for everybody, but it's not supposed to be. I do the type of work that I want to do that expresses who I am, but I can share it on a global scale and connect with that handful of people with whom my work resonates. And so I've had some I've had some really powerful experiences from people who have really connected in an emotional way with my work, and that's just as satisfying as somebody who comes up and they think it's funny and they think it's cartoony, and so I think there's no right or wrong way to appreciate art. It's a visual internal type of process, and so as long as I get to continue to make the type of work that I want to make, that I can express myself in the ways that I want to express myself, the viewer is free to take away whatever experience they want from it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that's really great because when you start trying to make something for someone, it kind of loses some of the soul behind it,
And there's a hard trade-off in the art world. I have to make sure that I'm paying the bills, and so if nobody liked my work, then I would have to do something about that. There's one of my professors down at Southern Utah University. He said a Zen potter creates 1,000 pots, then destroys them all. Because by the 1,000th pot, he can create any one of those pots that he wanted, and that's kind of always been my big motto is that just create the work, and if it's good, great. If it's bad, great. But move on and continue to create, continue to grow, continue to produce, and so if I make something that people don't like, it's not a failure because I've been able to communicate what I wanted to communicate, and I've learned something new for the next piece that I do down the road.
Awesome. I get the privilege to say that I liked Chris Bodily before it was cool. So, but what was that moment that you kind of said, I want to take this art to the next level. I want to do this full time and for a living. When was that? What was that moment that made you decide that this is what you want to pursue as a career?
Well, in all honesty, so I've been doing art since I was a little kid. I've been trying to do art professionally for the last 15 years, but essentially I hit rock bottom, and full disclosure, I'm bipolar and I've got some mental health issues, but I had made a mess of my life, and my sister was taking care of me. I couldn't get a job at McDonald's, so I decided that why not put my energy into trying to make some money off my art, and so from there it just really picked up, and I think I needed that leap of faith moment. When I was doing art before, I had a job at a private boarding school teaching art and things like that, and so there was always other options and things like that. But when you hit that moment that you have to, you have nothing left to lose, then but it's changed my life, and it's made all the difference, because I would say the last 3 years have been my most successful years, and I make a good living that I'm able to support me and my family, and I'm really happy that things came together the way that they did. So, but on that same note, like one of my favorite painters of all time is Van Gogh, and he didn't reach any sort of success in his life, but his work is so powerful. When I saw Van Gogh for the first time in a museum, I started to cry because like I got it. Like you see a picture of Van Gogh, a print, and it doesn't really make sense, but you see it and you can see the impasto, and you can understand what went into that. And I think that's what art is all about, is putting your heart into your work.
Awesome. Well, we'll take a little break and we'll be right back. All right. Welcome back, everybody. I am Waddy McFly with
Arthur Kemp.
And we are here on Fringe Radio. Fringe Radio presents Game and Movie Empire Show. We are here today. We are interviewing Chris Bodily, who is a local artist and amazing person. And we were just talking about, what kind of got you started with your business. And you mentioned just, I loved what you mentioned. You just kind of mentioned you weren't, you didn't have, you were kind of at a rough patch in your life, and you turned. It's kind of funny because it seemed like it was there all along, and I just think it's awesome. To me, it's I don't want to, I don't mean to get deep here, but I've seen it happen a million times where it seems like tragedy, or when things don't go the way that we want to, it seems like those are when we get the best ideas. I don't know if that's just me. But, do you feel like that has some, we don't need to get, deep into it, but, do you feel that has some kind of effect, just in art in general?
Yeah, I think what the most valuable aspect of my work is, I feel, is the honesty that I put into it. And I think, people appreciate that honesty.
Definitely.
I think everyone has the whole gambit of experiences in their lives, and if you can create something that people relate to on a deep emotional level, it doesn't. My images aren't about being perfect or beautiful or completely polished. It's about getting at something deeper than just the surface.
Definitely.
Want to take a call?
Yeah, we got a call. Let's take a caller. Hello, caller. You're on AM 630.
Hey, guys. This is Bill in New York. How are you doing?
Hey, doing good, Bill. How about you? How's the weather over there?
Pretty cold. Actually, we had 8 inches of snow on Thanksgiving Eve, but it's calmed down a bit now.
Well, we'll take some of it. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I got a couple of questions for Chris.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Chris, have you ever been contacted or thought about collaborating with a tattoo artist for your work?
Oh, yeah. I design a lot of tattoos. I design a lot of CD covers, posters for bands, things like that. And so, really, as long as it's the type of work that I like to do, then I'm excited about trying new things and collaborating with different artists, in different fields as well. I've done some work with movies, and so yeah, I do tattoos.
Yeah, your tattoos would be awesome.
Yeah, I was just looking at his artwork. Some really cool, awesome stuff there.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
And also, did you ever think about maybe in the future creating a specific character and maybe turning that into like a comic strip or some type of series?
Yeah, my wife is actually a writer, and she, we talk all the time about putting together a comic book or a graphic novel or something to that effect. And that's actually when I went to school. That was one of my goals and my dreams, is to put together a story. But as of now, I've yet to. I did a comic for Hellskate. It's a horror roller derby comic or movie that's coming out. But yeah, someday I would like to make some graphic narratives like that.
You know why, Chris? Because you see all these cartoonish type of characters today. They seem kind of like, I mean, you look at Family Guy. I think something that you can do can take it to the next level as far as the artwork and the graphics.
Thank you.
Know what I mean?
I really appreciate
that. The perception of that. Because I always think, when I was looking at your stuff, the first thing that I was thinking in my head was, wow, like on a Ren and Stimpy kind of line. You know what I mean? Something more like hardcore, like a strip that people, maybe not, meant for adults that can get into, like a characterization, something more extreme.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That was when I was a kid. When I was about 13, I was really influenced by Acme Novelty Library by Chris Ware, and it was kind of that moment where I realized that he was using a very cartoony style, but he was exploring some really adult themes, and that was a real eye opener for me. So I would love to be able to. I'm really flattered that you would say that, and I would love to try something like that out sometime.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, and
Thank you.
like I said, I'm impressed by your artwork on your site.
Thank you.
And I think only good things are going to come your way in the future.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you.
Thanks for calling, my friend.
Oh,
go ahead.
Quick question for you guys.
Sure.
What's going on with the flight of flight sim games or space-based games? Because, like in the past, you had Ace Combat, you had Hawks, you even had the old Star Trek Legacy game, which was, I thought, a decent game for as far as the space kind of shoot-up game, even though it was Star Trek, but I thought it was great. And I think Star Trek needs to make better games for their movies. I mean, the last one was atrocious. So what do you think? You think the market is there for these type of games, or?
Well, one thing I want to say is I grew up on X-Wing and TIE Fighter, so those are like some really, really cool classic games. And there is some good news for you. There's a game called Star Citizen. It's being made by the creator of Wing Commander. Have you, by chance, heard of Wing Commander?
I actually own it.
Cool. So he crowdsourced this game. It's going to be coming out, I believe, this year. It's kind of being slowly released, like a bit at a time. But it looks, first of all, it's really beautiful, and it's supposed to be a very huge, expansive type of world that's kind of got cooperative play and stuff like that. So there's definitely a market for it. Lots and lots and lots of people paid money to help support this game. It's definitely still alive and kicking, I would say.
Oh, good, because I've been kind of like upset with the lack of these games, because like right now I have to tell you I'm very busy with the internet and involved with the shows and all that stuff, but now I'm finding a little downtime, and I just started playing Alien Isolation.
Awesome.
So it's a good, intense game. I find it a little slow at times. It's a slow-paced kind of game, but it's more like a role-playing game. But, it'd be nice to have more of a shooter-type game in space. You have all these role-playing games like Dead Space, and another series that lacked was, oh my God, the Resident Evil series.
Yeah.
You would think they would bounce back. The last couple were shaky. Not like the ones back in the day.
No, definitely. Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems with video games nowadays is that they just keep making more and more of the same video game and getting less and less about the story and the game mechanics, and it's just not as fun as they need to. We need some more original, fun type games like you've been saying.
I agree. Well, guys, it's a pleasure. I'm glad that you guys are having the show now, along with Pat there. And I wish you guys the best of luck, and I'll speak to you guys in the future. And Chris, Good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.
Take care, my friend. Good night.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Bill. We'll hopefully get a call from you later.
Awesome. So, we need to look at our next question. Our next question is...
So, Chris, let's talk about some of your favorite things to draw. Do you have favorite things to draw?
My favorite things to draw? I end up drawing a lot of cats. I don't know if that's because that's the only person that's the only thing that I'm around all day is my cat. But Yeah, there's a poster of wet cats there. Yeah, I don't know. I draw a lot of monsters. I think, like I said, I mean, because the lines inform the image rather than the image informing the lines. I think whatever's in my subconscious ends up coming out into the images. So, but also I'm always trying to expand and figure out new ways to approach things. I'm still continually learning, and I try other styles. I try learning new techniques. So yeah, I think if there's something that I'm afraid of drawing, then that's what I should be drawing, because that's the only way that I'm going to learn. That's the only way I'm going to get better. So.
I had a question come in for you, Chris.
Yeah.
Our good friend R.W. In California writes in, says, Chris, have you ever felt like your art has been channeled in some way?
Channeled?
Well, I mean, we talk. I think when we talk about channeling, we think about paranormal and stuff like that. But from an outside influence, an outside source, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, in the sense that there's a million different influences all around at any given time that feed into what you might be feeling or thinking at any given moment. And so my work is very, very train of thought, very it's almost like a psychological snap, or like a photo of how I might be feeling at any given time. So as far as channeling, I guess in that sense, I'm pretty skeptical about a lot of things as far as higher powers or things like that. But I know that there's outside forces or outside influences that influence my work. So,
you guys want to take another call?
Please do. Hello, caller. You're on AM 630.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. Going great. How are you? What's your name?
Good. Hey, my name is Susie.
Okay.
Hello, Susie.
How's it going, Chris?
It's going great.
Well, good. Hey, I'm a new listener, and I want you guys to know you guys are doing an awesome job tonight.
Thank you.
This is just killer. I knew that you guys were going to be on. I kind of got word of it by way of Facebook, and
Cool.
I always love to hear new talent on the talk radio, and so I'm a big follower of all the different gigs you guys do, and so it's been really cool to see you guys spread out to talk radio and stuff. So
Awesome.
Way to go, you guys. This is exciting.
Thank you.
Chris, hey, I just kind of have a random question. I've got kids that play your, are interested in your work and things like that, and so we've kind of talked about this and wondered what your favorite TV show was.
Oh, my favorite TV show now or when I was a kid?
Well, how about when you were a kid? Let's start there.
Oh, I was pretty much raised by cartoons. So, before I'd go to school, I'd watch the Flintstones and Scooby-Doo, and then I'd come home from school and I'd watch. I loved the Ninja Turtles. I loved He-Man. I loved the Simpsons were a big influence. Batman, the animated series,
Nice.
when that came home, I would run home from school to see Batman. And
Did you ever watch Animaniacs at all?
Oh, I loved Animaniacs.
Okay, I just got to say, love Animaniacs.
Tiny Toons, Animaniacs. I would try and digest as much, as many cartoons as I could. And when my sister used to run a used bookstore, and so when that closed down, I inherited the comic book collection from the bookstore, and
Lucky.
so I would read through all the given titles that I had just back to back, and then try and draw the characters from the comic book. So, I think there's a lot of really great shows out there. Even now, I'll watch cartoons with my nephew, and there's some really fun ones. I'm pretty stoked on Avatar, and
Awesome. Have you ever seen Adventure Time?
Oh yeah, I
love Adventure Time.
I love Adventure Time. It's good stuff. So, but yeah, I think cartoons are great for kids, and
Yeah.
and so what are your kids' favorite shows?
Well, my kids are into all of that stuff too, and as they've gotten older and things, they've branched off and watched all kinds of different stuff. But I really have some kids who are like in middle school age, and they're really. I have one in particular who is super interested in drawing, and he really is the one who I've noticed has the most just natural talent for it and stuff. And so I kind of wondered if maybe you could recommend some things that you might think a middle school age kid, I mean, he's about 14 years old, and can you recommend some things that maybe a kid that age would be able to get into now to where, would keep his interest in art and in, developing that talent. He talks about when he grows up that he wants to do those kind of things like what you're doing. And so maybe you can give him some advice. They're sitting here with me too. Can you just kind of give him some advice as far as what he can do to keep that talent and maybe develop that talent even more to help him, go in that direction that you have and hopefully be successful.
That's a good question.
I think the thing is just draw all the time, and do it because you love it. Do the type of work that you want to do, and don't worry about whether it's whether every piece you do is perfect or not, because you're not doing it to the process of drawing is for the sake of drawing, and the more you do it, just logging all those hours is what's going to pay off in the end of being able to do any type of work that you want to do. And anytime that you see a style that, if you see a cartoon show that you like the characters, then figure out, what is it that make those characters who they are, and break it down into its component parts and figure out, okay, well, if I were to do something like this, but take it in my own direction, in my own style, what is it about these that I'm drawn to?
Guys, we got to take an NBC news break. We're going to be back off the other side of top of the hour. You're listening to Fringe Radio. Arthur, Alex, and Chris are live in studio. Stick around. We got a lot more to cover.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, welcome back to part 2 of Fringe Radio and G.A.M.E. And what does that stand for, guys?
Game and Movie Empire.
There you go. Arthur and Chris and Watson, they're all in the studio here tonight. Of course, Fringe Radio is here every Saturday night from 6 till 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8 o'clock till midnight Eastern Time. All of our listeners, we want to say good evening. Hope you're enjoying the new format. We're having a lot of fun, and it's an honor to have these guys here in the studio with us, learning a lot tonight. Of course, all of our listeners that listen to us through the Inception Radio Network, the Listen Live link at k-talk.com on AM 630 here in Salt Lake City, or our international broadcast partner, Global 24 Radio, WRMI, broadcasting on 93.95 kilohertz in the international shortwave band. I want to say good morning to all of our listeners wherever you may be throughout the world. If you want to join the chat, the whole gang's in the chat room at InceptionRadioNetwork.com. Of course, Fringe Radio covers anything related to the paranormal, ufology, alien and alien abduction, science and science fiction, cryptozoology, and conspiracies of all kinds, anything shrouded in a little bit of mystery. You can find us on the World Wide Web at FringeRadioshow.com. We're on Facebook and Twitter as well. If you've got questions for the gang tonight, give us a call, 801-254-5855. That's 801-254-KTKK. Next week on Fringe Radio, just to give a little heads up for what's coming up, ufologist Larry Holcomb will be with us for the first couple hours, and then paranormal researcher Nathan Couch will join us. So we're looking forward to that show. G.A.M.E. is G.A.M.E. and Movie Empire. Again, anyone who tuned in for the first part of the show, the first hour that flew by, Alex and Arthur are here. They'll be here every last Saturday of the month, bringing great guests like Chris in. It's an honor to have these guys here. Let's go ahead and just jump right back in again. Actually, we got a caller. You guys want to take a call?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Right. Introduce him.
Go ahead.
Hello, who is this?
Patrick.
Oh, You didn't pick him up.
He did.
Oh, hello?
Caller.
Yes.
Hi, who is this?
You are on with Arthur,
What's your name?
Alex, and Chris.
Hi, this is Patrick.
Patrick.
Hello,
how are you,
Patrick.
Hey.
What's the question?
So, Chris,
Yeah.
how did you like the Hellscape?
How did I like it?
Yeah. Have you seen it? Or
It-
did you just do the comic for it?
So they're still putting the movie together. So I did a prequel comic to kind of help them raise money for the movie, and then after the movie comes out, I'm going to be doing a full length comic for them again. So I do a lot of promotional materials and things like that. But Sana, who's kind of in charge of Hellscape, she's a great client, and she's been super great to work with, and it's a fun project to to the people that I've met and worked with. I'm really happy to be working with them. So
Yeah, I really enjoyed that little preview comic. I bought it at Comic-Con.
oh, thank you.
So I'll be looking forward to the full one.
Cool. Well, I'll keep if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, I'll keep putting updates as it comes out. So,
Will do.
thank you.
Sweet, Patrick. Any other questions?
Nope, that was it.
All right, man. Thanks so much for
Thanks
calling
for
in.
calling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and I believe we had some questions, some email questions, Patrick?
Yeah, we got a group of a dedicated group of engineers up at the University of Utah. A couple of them are stuck in town. They didn't get a chance to fly back east to be with family. But Tracy writes in. She says, Chris, have you ever drawn anything dark that maybe scared you when you were done drawing it and you destroyed it and threw it away?
Everything that I make is pretty dark. No, I mean, like I've never been too afraid of my own work, but I have had people tell me that they were afraid of my work. But like it's essentially my work is me. So if as dark as a person can get, whether they're afraid of themselves. But yeah, I don't know. But I also don't shy away from complex feelings, or like if I'm feeling dark and I want to express that, then I'm not afraid to put it down on paper. So
Yeah.
Right on. Is there any other ones from there?
At the moment, no.
Okay.
Cool. We also did want to remind our viewers, for those that are calling in, Chris is giving away a few art prints. So please continue calling in and asking questions. We've had some great callers so far, so thank you so much for that.
And we did have another question for you.
Oh, we
Chris.
do have another question. Good.
It says, Chris, and I think we've answered this, but just again, has Chris ever considered displaying his artwork at Comic-Cons around the country?
Yeah, so last year we tried to expand out to a few of the different Comic-Cons. We went to one in Texas, one in I don't even remember all the places. But the problem is finding the balance between the costs of getting out to the Comic-Con versus versus making the sales. And so, like right now, I'm with the Hive Gallery, and we just need to figure out the most economical way to expand. And so primarily we work in Utah, Colorado, Arizona, Vegas, things like that. And then we've also just opened up online sales. The Hive Gallery and Boutique.com will sell prints through there. And so we're working on it. We're looking to get, if we could do the San Diego Comic-Con.
That's huge, isn't it?
Then yeah. So we're working on doing that, and hopefully we can expand out and hit all of the major events. So
Gotcha.
Right on. I think one of our last questions we've kind of already talked a lot about, but we kind of want to delve into it a little more. What's your process for when you do a comic book? That's something we were kind of interested in. Do you get the script and then you have to write in, or do you what's the process with that?
Well, as far as graphic narratives, the biggest one I've done recently is the one that I did with Hellskate. And so every writer approaches it differently. There's the Marvel method where the writer will give you a loose outline of what the story's about and then just kind of let the artist go have free reign. But with Hellskate, they had specific ideas in mind as far as what the story entailed and things like that, and what they wanted in the different panels. And so I think it's different with every project that you do and every group that you're working with. I know that when I'm working with another person, like a client, I like to know any specific boundaries that they have in mind. I like to know those up front so that I'm not going through and making changes constantly. But as far as I know the parameters, then I can kind of use my artistic interpretation after that point. So if that answers the question.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I would like to ask an additional question. So for Hellskate, for example,
yeah.
How much of the story was them? Did you write any of the story or dialogue?
So the story was written by Carl Jogler, and they had a pretty specific idea in mind as to what they wanted, as how they wanted the characters to look and things like that. But they also they knew the type of work that I did, and so they came to me because they wanted the type of feeling that I had in my work already. So I didn't have a lot to do with the writing of that. It was all scripted out as far as as far as that goes. But yeah, different projects function differently. So
makes sense. I get it.
Awesome. So for this next part of the show, we'll go to a few breaks and stuff like that. But we kind of just wanted to open it up and get a feeling of who you are as a person. We kind of have an idea of what was your inspirations and how you got things started and your name. So now we know the business side of you. So now we kind of want to know a little more of the personal side. One of the callers already called in and mentioned some TV shows and games. And before we even got into the studio, we were talking about Avengers, Age of Ultron and stuff like that. So we just want to kind of more take it into that step and kind of get a more of a feeling of you personally, if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So let's just first, let's just talk about you seemed pretty passionate when we talked about Avengers, Age of Ultron. So let's talk about maybe that for a little bit. What are your feelings on the new trailer and how Marvel's going in that direction, and how are you feeling about that?
Marvel's a juggernaut. How can you not be on board for all of those movies?
Oh yeah.
Do you want to hold that thought?
We'll have to hold that thought.
Break? Yes. All right. You're listening to Game. Our guest in studio tonight, Arthur, Alex, Chris. Well, Arthur and Alex are not guests. They're guests that are now part of it. I hope you're enjoying Game here on Fringe Radio. Stick around. We'll be back on the other side.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
And we're actually you from the future. No, I'm just kidding. All right, welcome not to the Twilight Zone, but welcome back to the radio show. I'm Waddy McFly with Arthur Kemp. Oh, you can say your name. And we're also here with Pat. He's rocking it over there, being awesome. Just once again like to thank Pat for thinking of this show and having us included in that show, which is pretty awesome. We have a very special guest, which is like guest. We have a very, very special guest, Chris Bodily. We were just going to dive into the Age of Ultron trailer and all the Marvel universe that's going on, and then we had to cut him off short. So let's jump back into there. How are your feelings about the Age of Ultron trailer and where Marvel's going?
Well, in general, I think comic book movies have finally gotten to the point where they know how to do it right. Like, I watched the old Batman TV show. I watched the old Hulk TV show, the old Wonder Woman TV show, and watched through. No offense to Fantastic Four movie, but could possibly be the worst movie of all time. But I think they finally figured out how to tell the story in a compelling way, and I will not miss one of those movies until they're done making movies.
Is there any one in particular that you're excited for? We'll give Age of Ultron. I mean, that's a given. But is there any other ones that you're excited for?
Going into the whole Civil War thing with is that Captain America 3 that they're
technically? I think.
Yeah, I think they're doing Captain America 3 and a Civil War.
Oh, they are?
Movie. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Might be a 2-part movie. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, they've got movies rolled out for the next 20 years, something like that.
Exactly. So I mean, let's talk a little bit about what we're thinking. We were talking outside here. My favorite superhero is by far Spider-Man, and it has broken my heart that they've made these great movies. Don't get me wrong, I feel like the Spider-Man movies have been decent, but they're not at all at par of what these, what Marvel's done with the Avengers. And so we were kind of hoping for Spider-Man to come in there. So what are your thoughts with that? Do you think Sony at all is gonna not be greedy anymore?
I honestly don't think we'll ever see a crossover, but I would
break my heart, Chris.
I would love to see Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in the Marvel universe.
Yes.
Pull some strings, make it happen.
I know. There's got to be a way it's going to be beneficial for both of them.
Well, and especially with the comic book universes the way that they are, you can change reality. Just do some time travel or some infinity gauntlet thing, and then just cross the universes over, and we're all good.
Well, who says that they're not in the same universe? You just never see them around each other.
And New York isn't destroyed.
It's harder to justify.
For sure. What are your thoughts of my favorite movie so far that they've come out with is actually Guardians of the Galaxy? Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
What are your thoughts about Guardians of the Galaxy?
Great.
I just loved it because it came out of nowhere almost. They went kind of on a limb with the director they chose. Because it was gonna be a different movie, and I think it was awesome for Marvel and Disney to kind of. I think Marvel Marvel is Disney now, but I feel like. It's now my favorite superhero movie just because it was different, it was comedic, and it wasn't afraid to be a little more vulgar and be a little more mature.
Yeah,
or immature.
I also depending who you are.
I like that Marvel's playing the long game, right? Guardians of the Galaxy will tie in with the rest of the Marvel universe at some point, but they're not afraid to just say, okay, well, Put everything on hold and let's see this movie for a minute, and let's and so I think that's very cool that they're taking their time. That I think that's the formula that works so well with the Avengers movie is that they had a movie for each of the heroes beforehand, and so you don't have to waste half the movie in introducing the characters. You can say, okay, these guys, let's put them together and let's blow up New York, right?
Oh, yeah. I'll never forget at the end of, was it the first Iron Man or second Iron Man? I think it was the very first Iron Man. Yeah, it had
I'm assembling a team.
We'll say, yeah, exactly. When freaking Samuel L. Jackson has his eye patch and he's like, it's called the Avengers Initiative, and I was like, holy crap. Like, I only know, I never gonna admit that I'm a big, like, comic book, like, hardcore fan, like a lot of our friends are, but there's two things I do know, and that's Spider-Man and Avengers, for the most part, and definitely more Spider-Man. So, when I heard that, I, like, flipped. I was so excited. What did you feel, Arthur? I mean, I don't know.
A long time ago.
That is true. And what is your thoughts about, superhero movies? Because I don't know if we've ever talked too much about it.
You know, that is an interesting thing. We haven't talked too much. I love superhero movies.
Oh, good.
But what I like, what Marvel is doing is like, I feel like a studio making a big budget movie would want to play it safe and be like, how can we make a movie to maximize our profits? Like, and I don't feel...
Then you get the first Hulk.
Yeah, well...
But that was before all that happened, so I'm just saying.
Sure. Angeli's...
I can't remember. Who was
that? The one with, was it Eric Bana?
Yeah. And Nick Nolte running around just insane.
That was
I actually really, the first Hulk... I admit, I tried watching it recently. I could not stay awake. But I really loved how they kind of had this comic book panel feel where they had a shot pan across and move. And I thought that was really cool. You don't want to overuse that, but I really loved the editing style.
You know what movie I loved this year was Birdman. Have you guys seen it?
Yes, I love Birdman.
I had watched the first two, the Tim Burton Batmans before I went and saw Birdman, and it's such a great commentary on art versus high art versus low art, and and like everyone in Birdman, like they had. Edward Norton, who played one of the Hulks. They had Emma Stone, who was in Spider-Man,
right?
And it's
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
and it's an amazing movie on its own. But then that the commentary that it makes on it hits so many diegetic levels. It's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I think Birdman is an awesome movie, and I love how like it feels like it's almost one entire shot.
Yeah.
That was super awesome. And then the acting is just great, and like that's a movie if you guys, if you like superhero movies, it's definitely more on like towards the end it gets a little more on the artsy dark side, but
it's almost it's very meta. It's not a superhero movie so much as it makes commentary about the superhero movie industry.
Definitely. Yeah, I love the little holy crap. I love the little jokes they make about, and then it shows Robert Downey Jr. and he's like, yeah, I think it's definitely awesome. How do you feel about because Marvel's, we talk a lot about Marvel, but now we're starting to see that it looks like DC is starting to try to make that move. What do you think about Batman vs Superman and all that stuff they're trying to get going on?
Not to mention we also have Sony trying to do it, and Fox.
So true.
Everyone's doing it. Oh, well, Marvel did it. We can do it.
I love superhero movies, so the more the merrier. But definitely. I think Christopher Nolan's Batmans were unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
And almost they don't even feel like comic book movies so much as
the third one did not feel like a comic book movie.
Yeah. Batman is great, and so. I like to imagine, it's okay to imagine Batman existing in Superman's universe, but I don't like imagining Superman existing in Batman's universe. Because really, if you have Superman, then who is somebody like the Joker? Superman could fly in, punch him in the face, and be done with it. Right?
Yeah, that's totally true. I won't lie, I haven't been very on par with all they seem to a lot go. Marvel's done it too with a lot of TV shows, but it seems like DC is doing a lot more of the TV shows with Arrow, and now they have Flash.
What did you guys think about Val Kilmer as Batman?
Oh my god! I'm
And
sure
then George Clooney.
I'm sure he's a nice guy in real life.
I liked him in The Saint.
Yes, that was an awesome movie.
Unrelated, but
Yeah,
guy.
I think I think the direction that was taken with the two movies. Who directed those? I don't even remember. But the two movies after the Tim Burton movies, they were taking a more comedic approach and
with Jim Carrey,
trying to make it fun and funny.
Yeah.
And but we had kind of experienced that with the old 60s TV show and that campiness. I think Christopher Nolan came in and did a total 360 on the way that they were approaching their movie
Well, didn't
franchise.
he write those movies? Or his take was kind of originally from the comic books. I mean, the original comic books in their day, they were very dark. And Batman was I don't want to say an evil character, but he was
complex.
Complex, yeah.
Yeah, he was based on the Shadow from old pulp noir novels, and so.
What about the Shadow movie? Would you guys see that?
What was that? You kind of did like a dodging move.
Without disparaging, to get to the point that we're at now, right? We've had to build on a lot of unsuccessful movies, and so I don't think we can slight the older movies for what they were, but there was a lot of trial and error to get to the point in which they figured out the formula that they needed to use on comics. And so, the Daredevil movie and but as bad as a lot of those movies were, they opened the door for the type of movies that we're getting now. And so you can't badmouth them so much as, you have to appreciate that they were what they were at the time and place that they needed to be.
Love them for who they are, right?
No matter how ugly they were, you just got to, like one of your kids, you just got to say thank you. Thank you for at least being here.
Okay, quick question for the group.
Yes.
Nicholson or Ledger?
Oh, Ledger.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jack Nicholson.
I mean, Jack Nicholson, I don't know. I feel like he brought a whole different thing to it, but I mean, I feel like Heath Ledger really just kind of took what Joker was really about. And see, that's the thing with Heath Ledger. I'm glad you brought that up. Everyone who always complains about anything with movies nowadays is like, oh, why did they cast him? That is awful and that's stupid. And why would they do that? I always remind everybody, okay, remember when they were coming out with the second Batman and everybody was saying, oh, Heath Ledger? No, like, are you kidding me? The guy from 10 Things I Hate About You and Knight's Tale? No way.
And that other movie he did, the Stereotype?
Yeah, and I mean, like, come on, he's the pretty boy. And you just never can, you can't underestimate an actor. And, I mean, that's the kind of thing I need to bring up with everybody. So I know that's kind of a little off topic, but that Heath Ledger definitely was awesome.
I will say when I was a kid, I was obsessed with the movie the Tim Burton Batman, and I started a Bat club with my friends, and still to this day I have the Bat card that we made by cutting out the Bat symbol from the TV guide and laminating it. So It was a really great movie, but I think the Christopher Nolan movies just have a much more interesting tone.
Well, do you think that the Nicholson Keaton film that was a long time ago. That was what, mid 80s, early 80s. I mean, that was kind of the first try at kind of like the original Christopher Reeve Superman movies.
Yeah.
I mean, that was before the days of any that was blue screen, no CG. I mean, that was really, technologically, that was a tough time to do what they're doing today. I thought it had, I like Heath Ledger. I like the Nicholson Joker better. I think it had more of the comic book feel.
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe because I grew up around that. But, it was, I think in its time frame, it was done well. It was fun. It was funny.
And I think something that's interesting about comic books, the comic book movie whole phenomenon thing is that the comic book characters have been developing for over 50 years. And, they started out very, very two-dimensional, and then when the Comics Code came out and they were restricted on what kind of comment they could content they could put into the comics, and so comics became very, very goofy and just like, nothing happening. And then there was almost a complete turnaround where comics got super dark for a while. Mm-hmm. And so I think that, and then to take this 50 years of history or something like that, and then to condense it down, just taking the best bits and putting it into a movie, like you're getting just the essence of this character. And there's so many different sides of Batman depending on which writer, which illustrator it was, and.
Bill from New York writes in, says, what do you guys think of the new Gotham series on TV?
Yeah, I am ashamed to say I haven't watched
episode. It's good. It's good. I love it. I love it.
Well, then you can talk about it. I really should watch it.
We got to take a break first.
Okay.
Oh, well, thank you we're going to take a break. We'll be right back talking to Chris Bodily. We're going to talk about Gotham.
Welcome back to the Fringe Show presents Game and Movie Empire. I'm Arthur. I'm here with...
Hey, I'm Waddy McFly.
And Chris Bodley. You want to say your name, Chris?
I wanted to, but now everybody knows my name.
Yeah, sorry, I ruined that. We've been talking about like comic books and Marvel superhero movies and that sort of thing. And we're going to get to that in just a minute. But first we're just going to play a really quick clip. That was hard to say. A really quick clip of Carrie Fisher bashing Star Trek.
Yeah, with the new trailer. And we're going to get into that tonight, right, guys?
Yes.
We are? Promise? Swear?
We promise.
Oh, okay. Pinky swear.
All right. Pinky swear. All right. It was a clip, her doing an interview about talking about Star Trek. That you'll find this funny.
So, but you've heard this whole thing with William Shatner and how he's created this Star Trek versus Star Wars. If he was sitting here right now instead of me, what would you say in lieu of this whole challenge that he's put up against Star Trek versus Star Wars?
They're not in the same league. I mean, they have the word star in the title.
True.
And there's a space travel, right? Where do they go to? I don't really.
For 3 days.
It just sounds like a laundry detergent. They don't have all the stuff we had. You've never seen it before. Now, show me a special effect. Maybe they're just their effects. They're not called special effects.
In the case of him.
Yeah, in the case of just him. And also, they've been syndicated. And to be syndicated is actually physically painful. And now he's saying we're all naked in the show because they can draw bathing suits. Really? I don't think so. I had the metal bikini. By the way, Bill has borrowed it. I want to see him in his clingy outfit again. We should have like a costume law.
You do the metal bikini, and he get back into that sausage outfit.
Well, if you wore that outfit, those are the outfits you would wear to a Sarah Palin Roundup.
Teabagging.
And I hear that Cheney likes Star Trek, so that right there. And he's had a kidney stone, right? Mm-hmm. Get this, that he sold for $75,000. Now, keep in mind, this is an item that one would have. It comes out of the person's
penis.
What? Well, penis ultimately, yes. And that to me has never been something erotic. Oh, is that out of William Shatner's penis? Did it finally come out? Oh, great.
So did you see he also wants to just ride out into the sunset with Princess Leia?
I mean, there are no sunsets in Star Trek.
I thought you guys would enjoy that. And just a little comparative note, I liked her comment about syndication. Carrie Fisher, as of a month ago, her net worth is $5 million. His is $132 million.
Oh.
So anyway, just with the upcoming movie, I found that clip. I thought that was pretty hilarious.
All right, now back to Gotham, Chris.
It's a good show. I think they put the kind of that Christopher Nolan treatment of just taking it seriously, and what would happen if these characters existed in real life. And like the Penguin, I've never seen the Penguin as a diabolical, scary character, but the Penguin is the best part of Gotham, and I've really been enjoying it.
That's awesome. I hear a lot of people. I mean, the only complaint I've heard now, like I said, I haven't seen it, so I'm not trying to be negative, is that they feel like they put too many villains into it. What do you respond when people say something like that?
Well, it seems to me that most of the villain cameos are more of Easter eggs, more than anything, because really the villains in the show are like these mob bosses, Don Falcone and Minestrone. I forget his name.
Linguini, I think.
But so but you'll see different villains as kids, or you'll see. But I am interested to see if it goes on for several seasons, if we would ever see somebody like Batman or something like that. But you see Poison Ivy as a kid, but she's a kid. She's not going to be Poison Ivy anytime soon. So I think more than anything, it's just it's a nod to all of the comic book readers. If you see these characters before they were Hush or before they were Two-Face or things like that, and you're like, you geek out about it. So I think it's a good show. I think it's worth watching.
Well, then we're going to have to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
The Penguin is the weird guy, huh?
Yeah. And I've read rumors that they're thinking that they'll turn the Penguin into the Joker because he's got those same mannerisms, but I think that's apocryphal. I mean, but the Penguin is pretty great. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, perfect. So going along with that even a little more, how do you feel about Benedict Cumberbatch coming into the mix of Marvel movies?
Oh, of course.
I'm glad that you get as excited as I am. I mean, I'm ashamed to say that I've only recently got into Sherlock. I finished them all in like 3 days, but I love Sherlock, and I've loved him in all the other things, and of course his Smaug. Did I say that correctly, Arthur?
Smaug, yeah.
Smaug. Okay. Awesome. I think he's going to be great. Now, and I always confuse, is it Doctor Strange?
Yeah.
Okay, Doctor Strange is who he's going to be playing. So, yeah, what are your thoughts about that?
I think it's going to be great. I think the thing about Benedict Cumberbatch is that every movie he's in, he plays the smartest guy in the room. Like he's head and shoulders smarter than anybody else.
Yeah. Like
and
Khan in Star Trek, the second Star Trek.
Yeah,
definitely.
And so I think he's going to add a lot of sophistication to the character, and he's perfect.
On that note, I wonder what would happen if you got Bruce Banner, Tony Stark, and Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange in a room. Like, would they just kill each other?
You might get to see that soon. So, no, that's definitely a good point. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, were you gonna say
No, that was it.
Okay, I gotta say, and I think it's really cool. I mean, BBC is always, we're gonna talk about Sherlock a little bit. I don't know how big you are into Doctor Who at all, but it just is really cool that, BBC's been around and they've had shows that have, gone across into the United States. But I think it's really awesome because, a lot of people don't even know that The Office I mean, The Office was made in, over there before it was even over here. I mean, Ricky Gervais created The Office, and it's all on Netflix, so if you want to watch that. But what about comedies and TV shows? We can talk about that. What are some of your favorite like TV shows apart from like superhero stuff? Because that's all we've talked about so far.
I love let's think. What have I been watching lately?
A lot of people, I need to get into Parks and Rec. I was a huge into The Office, and now everyone's like, well, you need to start watching Parks and Rec. But the thing about everyone trying to get with Parks and Rec is how they pitch it to me is, The Office is in no way as good as Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec is so much better. But you see, The Office is so dear to my heart. So if you want me to watch your show, don't destroy the show that I love, to watch it. So what other kind of TV shows do you watch? Are you just mostly watching superhero stuff?
No, I watch, I watch a lot of, I actually watch a lot of drama.
Awesome.
I do improv and I do my comedy a lot, in person with my friends. But when I sit down to watch a TV show or something like that, then Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, Game of Thrones.
Awesome.
I like Mad Men is amazing.
Cool.
These shows with a little bit of grit to them. But but we've been watching Portlandia. We don't have TV, so basically we binge everything on Netflix when it comes out.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it, for sure. Yeah, I gotta say, one of the things that brought us together, that sounds weird, but
we're just friends.
Yeah,
really.
We're just friends. But Breaking Bad is probably one of at least my favorite TV show. How are you feeling about, we haven't really got to see a whole lot, but what are you feeling about Better Call Saul, the little spin-off from that?
Oh, I'm excited. I didn't know about that show until I went to the LA Improv Festival and I was talking to the guy who plays Badger. And
nice.
He was a super cool guy, and we talked for like half an hour, and then afterward I was like, well, I had to go watch this show that he's in. And it's one of the best written shows in history. It's great stuff.
Isn't there some talk now, who's the main star in Breaking Bad? I can't think of his
Bryan
name.
Cranston?
Yeah, that nobody really knows if he's dead or not in the end.
Yeah.
That's
and
true.
he was talking a little bit about that in a couple different interviews.
Yeah,
so I wonder if something could...
Who knows?
I think his character arc, it's all about him corrupting himself. And so, for him to come back from the dead I think we've seen his character arc, and I've gotten what I need out of it.
I agree, but you never know in Hollywood, which is kind of sad. I think one of his quotes is that he said "Did you see them put him in a body bag? No, so you might see him again." That's what Bryan Cranston said. So
he might just be playing with us too.
Okay. Well, we're coming close to the end here with Chris Bodily, which is really sad. It has flown by. We're really grateful for all those callers that called in and who have messaged us afterwards at Facebook. You guys are going to get some of those free prints, so congratulations with that. I just want to thank Chris Bodily. Thank you so much for coming and being the very first guest on the Game and Movie Empire show. And if you could please just tell people where they can find you on Facebook or your internet site, and where else we can look for you in the future.
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me. This has been really great. I'm super flattered to be invited out. If people are interested in seeing more of my work, my website is hatrobot.com. I'm on Facebook as Hat Robot, Tumblr, Instagram. If you Google Hat Robot, you'll probably find me or robot hats. I really appreciate being out here, and this has been fun, and time flew by. So
definitely, we'll have to have you back on here soon. Once again, it's just been a real pleasure just just talking with you, and a lot of people are really excited about their free prints and stuff. So yeah, you can also, if you're here as a local, you can also find them at local Comic-Cons and the. I think you're talking about you're hopefully trying to get more involved with the arts festival. Is that right?
Yeah. So the Hive Gallery, they represent my work. You can also find them on Facebook or the Hive Gallery and Boutique.com. They sell prints. And so, but yeah, and we're always, if you want to, if there are aspiring artists out there that want to share their work with me, I love to see art. And so, but yeah, so.
Will you be at the FanX event, Chris?
Yeah, we'll definitely be at FanX. We'll probably be under T for the Hive Gallery if you're looking in the directory.
Okay, good.
But yeah, the FanX and the Comic-Con and FantasyCon, they've all been really great events for us. So,
and now FanX is what? Is that the last weekend of January?
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can buy your prints on your website. Is that right?
So from my website, it's they can email me and I can
okay,
give them the appropriate links. But the Hive Gallery and Boutique sells the prints locally, and if there's international listeners, I don't know, then I also sell some work on Society 6 if they want to find work there. But if there's it costs significantly more, but if there's people that are looking for private commissions, they can also email me and we can talk about different projects like that. So,
right on. Well, perfect. So we just want to remind everyone we're going to take a break in a little while. We still have a few minutes, I believe. But we want to remind everyone that in the next hour, we'll be talking about, the next 2 hours, we'll be talking about the Star Wars trailer, the Jurassic World trailer, as well as we're going to talk about some video games. What are broken video games? Are pre-orders worth it? As well as we're going to talk about some games in the future, what games we're excited for the future. We're also going to be giving out some prizes. We got some DVD, Redbox rentals, and Steam codes, and some free games and GameStop cards, beanies, and also we're going to be announcing our winner. For those that are those who have shared our video, we're going to be giving some shout outs and also going to be announcing the winners for that and who have shared our work. So once again, I just want to thank Chris Bodily for coming here today and just being so awesome, and just, we got the business out of the way, and then, we got to talk about some really cool, fun superhero stuff, and we're just looking forward to where you hope to go in the future, and yeah, just when you get huge, I mean, you already are huge, but when you get huge, just remember, us little guys over here. Not that we're little guys. I mean, come on, we're with Pat here. So.
My waistline says differently.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean,
Chris, it's an honor to have you in the studio.
Hey, it's been a pleasure. Thank you guys so much.
Back. NBC News is up next. We'll be back on the other side to talk about a lot more. Check us out at fringeradio.com and G.A.M.E. new website launching for that. Everybody, welcome back to part 3 of the Fringe Radio Show. On the 29th of November in the year 2014, I want to thank Chris Bodily for being here. Great interview, guys. It was a lot of fun. Interesting gentleman.
He rocks.
And his website again is hatrobot.com.
Yes.
So people need to go out there and check it out. Check out his work. I want to say hello to everybody listening to us here. A lot of new listeners here tonight, I'm hearing. Of course, you can listen to us at the Listen Live link at the radio station's website at k-talk.com. The Inception Radio Network, the whole gang's in the chat room. Of course, we're on Global 24 Radio, our international broadcast partner, broadcasting on 93.95 kilohertz in the international shortwave band. I want to say good morning or good evening to all of our out-of-the-country listeners. It's great to get a lot of emails from listeners listening to us on Global 24, or if you're listening up and down the Wasatch Front on KTKK AM 630 in Sandy, Salt Lake City. You You can find us on the web at fringeradioshow.com. We're on Facebook and Twitter as well. The call-in number up and down the Wasatch Front, 801-254-5855, 801-254-KTKK. You want to take a call? We had a few calls during the break.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Caller, good evening. Welcome to G.A.M.E.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Good. Am I live?
You sure?
Yeah, live.
Very nice. Is Chris Bodily still there?
No.
No, he took off.
He took off. Okay. Well, I was going to say, I just got done looking at his website, and the dude has got mad crazy skills.
Right?
He has got some very cool art. I was going to see if he talk about if he likes Frank Frazetta, artwork, that kind of stuff, but he's gone. So, got some other questions. Quick question for the movie guys.
Yeah, sure.
You know, with the computer animation and the computer work that they're able to do now, which is just unbelievable and has changed movies altogether.
Yeah.
I just recently saw, the Jurassic World little teaser, and the Hobbit movies are so big, and all the work they do, and then you got the new Star Wars trailer that just came out. I just want to ask you guys, earlier in the show you were talking about the Spider-Man, and whether or not the range was the quality, maybe the quality wasn't as much as some of your favorite older Spider-Man, stuff like that. I mean, they've done so much in movies. Do you really think they can pick these stories up, Star Wars, at this late in the game? Obviously, they'll make money. That, hand over fist, that won't be it. But
yeah,
can they really do, pick up the new, these movies this late in the game, and then, do you really think these movies can just be spectacular? Even, you got Steven Spielberg doing the Jurassic World, but it just seems like a lot of the good stuff coming out now is through the Marvel Universe. So I'll hang up and listen to your answers.
Okay.
Thanks for calling.
That sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the thing is like, I think as long as they make them good, they can reboot as much as they want to. I mean, sometimes we get sick of them, and we used to get really sick of them before, but I think the reason why we got sick of them was like, it was because of how, because they weren't making them good. Like, you can remake something, but just make it good.
Well, I think Jurassic Park said it best when they were so preoccupied with wondering if they could do it, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Exactly.
But like when you make enough bad sequels, I think people finally get the idea, okay, no one likes these movies. Maybe let's try making good movies. And then, like, surprise, surprise, they're successful. It's funny how that works.
Yeah, I think it's just a quick way to make a buck, sadly. But, I mean... Yeah, we'll see how that... But thank you, caller.
Yeah, well, question two, before we had a couple people just chime in.
Sure.
How we're giving away... You guys are giving away some gifts tonight. How can people get in line or have an opportunity to... doesn't mean you're going to get one, but have an opportunity to get some stuff?
Well, I'm glad that you asked. So first, actually, right now, we're going to announce some Facebook winners. We released a few promos on our Facebook page, and you can find that at www.J-WAT and that's with one T, J-W-A-T, productions.com, and if you shared the video, you got a chance to win. But don't worry, we still have other chances to win. Throughout the show, we'll be asking a few nerdy questions, and you can email them to me or to Pat. You can email me at watson@jwatproductions.com. And as soon as you answer those, or you can call in and answer, and the number is again
801-254-5855.
Yep, and we'll be giving away some plenty of awesome, cool prizes. So the first one we want to give away is for an awesome T-shirt. It's Classically Trained T-shirt. We're actually going to give it to a guy who shared that I've noticed has shared every single video, has commented, has really supported, Robert Clausen. So Robert, if you could message me, I know you've been messaging me a bit, asking about when to call in and surprise us. If you want to call in or shoot us your information, and we can get all that into you. So thank you so much for that, for sharing your video. I also want to thank Angelique. She was the one who was the Galadriel, the elf. parody type person. So we want to thank her. We want to thank all the cosplayers that helped us make that. Dez and Ainsley. I'm saying that wrong. And then
Eric.
Eric and Amber. So thank you guys for that. I hope you're having a good show. So yeah, throughout the rest of the show, we will be asking questions. You can call in and answer. We're going to be giving out free games, some apparel, and GameStop gift cards and stuff like that. So yeah, perfect.
Very good. Very good.
Great. All right, so let's get started. We had something amazing happen yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And Arthur, what happened yesterday?
Well, there's this little movie called Star Wars. Maybe you've heard of it.
Maybe you've heard of it. It's an indie film that was put into Sundance.
Really pretentious stuff. But either way, there was a trailer that came out for it.
Yes. And we want to do kind of like a trailer breakdown. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up the trailer here, and we're just going to kind of go through it step for step. You can do this with us. Just go on to just type in Star Wars Force Awakens trailer, and I'm sure you'll find a million of them. So hopefully you'll find the right one. The one that's by Movie Clips is for sure the right one.
Or you could go to Star Wars YouTube channel.
Oh, or Star Wars YouTube channel. Perfect. So we're just going to kind of talk and kind of say what we feel is our thoughts as we go through it. And let's get started. So the first thing here that we see is we just kind of see this deserty type terrain. And I'm not first we hear that narrative, which we'll pause for a second here. You actually heard of who it was.
So supposedly the narration is done by Andy Serkis, which is really interesting.
And explain.
Oh yeah, and if you don't know who Andy Serkis is, he played Gollum in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
He technically was also King Kong. He
did do the motion capture for King Kong. He also did the Apes. Help me out.
Caesar
in Planet of the Apes. Really big into motion capture. And Watson, you were mentioning something about that.
Yeah,
what do you think about that?
So if what I thought was really interesting about the Star Wars, his voice is almost unrecognizable with what he is. So what my kind of thought and hope is he might play, what he's known for. He might be an actual CG character and not someone, not a Jedi. He could be a Jedi, but
sure.
He knows about the Force. So whether he's just another kind of alien type character or something, but I would hope that it would be, maybe it's a character with a lot of movement, maybe some lightsaber fighting.
It's hard to say. Anything goes.
Yeah, but that's what I'm hoping, and that's what I'm hoping for as far as that goes. So yeah, anyways, unless you have any more to say about that.
No. So basically it starts off, we hear the narration, kind of some creepy stuff about the Force, really kind of ambiguous. It doesn't tell you too much. You should probably mute that.
So then we see, well, I just kind of want him to hear it a little bit, so they know what we're doing. So then we see, so it says, have you felt it? The Force is awakened, and we see this deserty area. Is it Tatooine? We don't know. Apparently, most of the planets out there are deserts. I don't know. Maybe it's Tatooine. Who knows? But then all of a sudden, this guy pops up. So this guy pops up, and he pops up, and the first thing that I thought of when I heard him, and real quick, once again, if you're listening and you want to share your opinions about this Star Wars trailer and Star Wars in general, please give us a call or jump on the chat and call on in because we definitely want to hear your opinion. So anyways, sorry, I'm a little excited because I love this. So the first actor who pops up is John Boyega.
Boyega, I guess. Yeah.
John Boyega. So one of the new faces, and another thing to note from this, we don't see any of the old cast in this trailer. So we don't see Carrie Fisher, we don't see Harrison Ford, we don't see
Mark Daniels, Chewbacca, R2-D2, C-3PO. Nope, don't see him.
Yeah, we don't see him. So that's interesting. But what I like about it, so we see him jump up here, and it's talking about The Force Awakens. So my initial thought is, well, maybe he has something to do with the Force, because why would you have somebody jump in to do with the Force when they don't have anything to do with the Force.
Exactly. It does seem to make a lot of sense. Also, a black stormtrooper, He's not a clone.
Right, he's not a clone. So, but it looks like we're going to have to come back to it.
Commercial break, and then we'll pick up with Star Wars. Arthur and Alex in the house.
In the house.
Fringe Radio.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to the Game and Movie Empire Show. We are presented by the Fringe Radio tonight. I am Arthur, here with
Waddy McFly. We also have
Fringe Radio.
Pat. He's awesome.
We've just been talking about the new trailer for Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. We mentioned a little about how... wow, I can't think of his name.
Yeah, John
Boyega.
Yeah, John Boyega.
He's a stormtrooper. We think he might have
something to do with the Force.
Yeah, And then, well, let's.
Yep. So
is there anything else? Let's keep playing it.
So what he does, he comes out, he's looking around, he's hot, he's sweaty.
I'm gonna say that shot at first. I was like, is that shot like? I know it just seemed weird.
Yeah, it did seem a little. It didn't seem different. Then we get to see this like droid, like a soccer ball droid. I'm not sure what else we can really say about that. I mean, that was pretty sweet. I mean, that's all.
I like that it looks like it's at least to some extent a practical effect.
Yeah. And it almost looks like you could see in the background here. That looks like a pod racer engine. I can't really tell you what
looks
that is.
Looks kind of like junk,
there.
But yeah, you're right.
But I mean, I don't know. We could see. I mean, I don't think we'll see any pod racing.
You know what that reminded me of? You
What's
guys
that?
ever see the movie, the Disney movie, The Black Hole?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, really? You have to check it out. It was made in early '80s.
Awesome.
Great film for its time.
Oh, I love '80s
films. And they had a couple of little robots, and one of the robots looked actually very similar to that.
That's interesting. Yeah. Well, it's a Disney movie, so I mean, they probably pulled from it. So
there you go.
So our next shot, we're coming up here. We get to see our first look at some stormtroopers.
Oh yeah, and so. We should talk about the stormtroopers, though.
Yeah, please.
Because they look pretty sweet. Like, I don't know. There's just something about them. They look like stormtroopers, but they look like new stormtroopers.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word.
Which does that mean? Is the influence of the Empire still going on, or did the stormtroopers switch over with the New Republic?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Like, I mean, since like everything from now on is brand spanking new, we can't really, we can only guess the stories. So yeah.
So then we get to see this lady,
Daisy Ridley.
So what I hear from her is she's supposed to be the Princess Leia of the series. Maybe, we don't know. This is all speculation. Could this be Han and Leia's daughter? We don't know. We're not quite sure. But she jumps on this land speeder type thing. Looks like
that's a refrigerator.
Yeah, it's pretty ginormous here. So she flies off. She's in a hurry. Everyone's in a hurry. Then, we get to see this. So please, could you explain what we just see?
So you get to see a close-up of an X-Wing pilot, and you see a couple...
3 X-Wings.
Yeah, and they're flying in the atmosphere right above the surface of a lake or something.
Yeah. We didn't get to see... I mean, we got to see them what is it?
Well,
what is the planet where with the snow and everything?
Yeah, that's Hoth.
That's Hoth. See, I say it right, but I just second guess myself. But we don't really get to see a lot of spaceships fly like that.
No,
so that's
we
pretty
don't.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's a really, really cool effect, and I really love like the costume and the outfit.
It's very classic.
Yeah. And the color scheme, really cool.
Beautiful.
Black and red, really cool stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So they fly by here. And then we come to my favorite shot.
Oh, yeah.
So we see a dark hooded character.
He's probably the good guy, right?
With a red lightsaber. So once he mentioned, then we see the one of the biggest shots that's talked about. We see a lightsaber. Now we want to talk about the lightsaber. We see one big lightsaber like normal, but then it has 2 things coming out of it. A lot of people have been saying it's 2 other lightsaber parts to protect against getting your hand cut off. But actually, you mentioned a theory that you've heard that actually is pretty interesting.
Yeah, the theory I heard, and I sorry, I don't remember where I saw this online. The idea was it was just some sort of vent because, like, I guess the lightsaber wasn't not necessarily the best made, so it had to have vents so it wouldn't, like, explode or something.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think it's, you mentioned inexperience. Maybe, because let's face it, as far as we know, the Sith has been gone. As far as we know, we don't know 100%, but
or maybe the Sliff, maybe the Sith were only sleeping.
Oh,
and then they woke up or awakened.
That's awesome. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. And we don't know who that is.
No.
Who's walking through there, but the speculation of who people think it is let me look at his name right here. People are speculating that it is Adam Driver, who is said to be the Sith, one of the Sith people in this. And I do like the idea of like a Sith who's getting these new powers and experiencing them and is like, what am I doing with them? And then learns about the Sith and is like, well, I'm going to go start some mayhem because I'm a Sith Lord now. So
that's what they do.
Yeah. So, I love that kind of thing. So definitely. All right. So we get to see that great. We could talk about that shot forever, but we have to keep moving. So He throws out the sword and the light. So we hear the light, and then it's dark for a second, and then what happens? Oh yeah, we get to see our first look at the Millennium Falcon, while two what are those ships called?
TIE fighters.
Two TIE fighters come through. I'm sorry, I'm just so excited. Two TIE fighters come through, shooting at it. Now let's talk about the Millennium Falcon here for a little bit. What do you feel about the Millennium Falcon?
Well, first of all, that is some epic flying. Like, that's some pretty sweet stuff. And just like, it looks almost like it's going to make you sick a little. But you know who has to be flying that, right?
Well, we don't know.
We don't know, but it's a good pilot, right?
I hope it's Han. Yeah, you're right, but it is a good pilot, or maybe one of his kids, or
that's true. It's hard to say. We don't see them, so you never know. But it does have a new radar dish. It lost.
That's right.
It lost the radar dish at the end of Return of the Jedi.
There you go. Right. So they had to upgrade it. I'm sure there's a few upgrades. Hopefully we'll get to see a few. Maybe I don't know if they'll directly reference them, but it'd be nice if they were just kind of. I don't want the whole show to be about the Millennium Falcon, although I would love it. The origins of the Millennium Falcon. But yeah, and then we back off and we see the titles, which is Star Wars: The Force Awakens. All right, so a couple things, just kind of like thinking about over this. Number one, we do not see a shot in space.
No.
That's something that's really interesting. The title credits, I think, are technically in space.
I think one important thing to also note is they just finished principal photography.
Very true.
Also, the movie's not going to be out for another year. So I'm surprised we have any special effects shots, honestly. That's kind of my thinking on that part.
Yeah.
They just want to get people excited.
And maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's just only the shots. Because what I heard, and I don't know if this is the actual case, but I heard that they actually filmed the sand parts. Like they actually like the sand part when the Millennium Falcon's flying isn't computer generated. That's what I've heard.
You know what's funny about that? Because I was actually thinking about it. I am a camera operator myself, so I thought to myself, like, gee, I don't think that the loop-de-loop part was actually real, but I think they used real footage and then manipulated it to blend it to go to the loop-de-loop.
Okay, so maybe that's what that's what it was.
But yeah, they definitely
But even if then, that was maybe one of the only, they didn't, at least what it looked like in the trailer, there was very few completely CGI made stuff for the trailer, and that's what I think. They just finished principal photography, so also we didn't see any of the old faces. I think I mentioned this already. We didn't see them. So what are they trying to say with that? They might. They're in the movie. We know they're in the movie, but maybe they're not going to have a lot of focus. Like maybe it's just we'll see them, we'll get to know them a little bit, but kind of catch up with them, and then kind of head off. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, not a lot of movies star older. Not a lot of action movies star older actors. Don't get me wrong, we all love Han, Luke, Leia.
Oh, yeah. Especially Han for me.
But like obviously they're getting older, and who even knows if they want to actually make more Star Wars movies.
Sure.
Maybe they're just doing this to be nice. But I mean, realistically, I think Star Wars, it's got to be younger people. There's a reason they said it 30 years in the future, right?
Yeah, and I think J.J. Abrams even once said that that's what he wants. Is he wants the first movie to kind of just say, this is where those characters have been for the past few years, but then the next couple movies are just about those characters, the son or daughter or whoever it's going to be about.
Yeah.
And, so, I mean, please feel free to call in, and we're going to move on to Jurassic Park now, but feel free to, what's that? And then, yes, and we also are going to, before we move into Jurassic Park, we're going to ask our question, for our first prize. You can, email us. You can email me at watson@jwatproductions.com. That's Watson, WATSON, at JWAT with 1T productions.com with the answer, or better yet, you can call in with the answer, and this is for some Redbox giveaways. So the first question that we're going to ask is, what is Princess Leia's home planet? So call in. Once again, it's what is Princess Leia's home planet? Call in, and the number is again
801-254-5855.
Awesome. Or if you could email me at watson@jwatproductions.com, and we'll contact you back quick and talk about the winner.
A couple quick questions I had.
Go ahead.
When J.J. Abrams took over the Star Trek universe, of course, when he did the 2009 reboot, of course, I'm sure you guys saw it. The trailer, the under construction trailer, was of the Enterprise. Well, what you thought was when the trailer opens, you don't quite know what it is, but then it's the Enterprise that's being built on Earth. But then it was a long time before any other trailer came out. I mean, it took quite a while. Do you think that? Do you guys feel that it's probably going to be quite some time before we see another trailer, or maybe could we see something at the Super Bowl? I mean, that seems to be a great time to release movie trailers.
No, what do you think?
I mean, usually the Super Bowl would probably be summer movies, I would think. I mean, you never know with Disney, but I think a more appropriate time would be the summer since it's coming out. Like, I think the only reason it has a trailer already is because it's Star Wars and they want people to be excited a year from now.
Yeah.
But like most movies don't have a trailer a year before it comes out.
No, I mean, yeah, I think it's a good idea, but and we may not see another trailer for quite some time. But no, I mean,
I'm glad we did.
Who knows what happens? Yeah, I mean, J.J. Abrams likes to have more questions than answers. So
I prefer that too. So
yeah,
I'm cool with it
for sure.
Do you think he's going to be now? Of course, they're writing the new Star Trek film is already, from what I've read, it's not filming yet, but it's well underway. I believe the storyline is done. We had don't know if you had a chance to listen to the show. We had Larry Nemesic on just recently, kind of the Star Trek guru of the universe. And now they're going to get two new writers, same writers, new director.
Yeah. I think J.J. Abrams might produce it.
He's going to produce it, right? Yeah. I'm sure he'll take Paramount's money too.
I would.
I mean, the guy's in a great position when you think about it. I mean, he's everything he releases turns to gold.
Yeah, and I mean, you get. I mean, he is so lucky. The fact that he went from Star Trek to Star Wars. I mean, he gets two huge universes to be in charge of. So the weight on his shoulders, that poor guy. I mean, he takes it though. Yep. So I mean, he has to know what he's getting into. That's for sure.
And then he's doing the new Mission Impossible too, I believe, isn't it? MI5. He's going to do that as well.
I know he's going to be a part of it in some way. So yeah, maybe produce it again. Who knows?
He's a busy man. Yeah, very much sought after.
Without a doubt. But yeah, if you want to call in for the 801-254-5855.
Yep.
That's 801-254-KTKK. Or again, you can email Watson.
Yep.
And he'll make sure that that you get on the list.
That question again is, what is Princess Leia's home planet? So now we're going to jump again. So we're kind of running short on time because we want to get to some video game news as well. We're going to jump in here. We're going to talk about Jurassic World trailer. Now this one, we got a lot more than the Star Wars trailer. So not that I'm complaining at all. I mean, we've been teased quite a bit with websites. They put up a cool little fake website.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Where you can go and, apply for IG, or what is it?
InGen.
Yeah, InGen, and get your own stuff. But let's, so we're going to do another trailer breakdown of Jurassic World. You guys are exploding on the internet. Once again, I want to thank the Utah Gamers Facebook on there. You guys are doing great and supporting us, and a lot of you have won most of the prizes, so that's awesome. But yeah, so let's go through here. So the first opening shot, we see, looks like a mother.
Talk about foreshadowing, right?
Yeah.
You probably didn't hear that very well, but she's like, if something chases you, run. not like the dinosaurs are going to break out.
Yeah, she's going to feel like an awful
Looks like they're
parent.
at Disney World running to getting a hot dog or
something like that. Yeah, it looks, she's going to be, they're going to come home after this and be like, you suck, Mom. But
just imagine her saying, this is the last time you'll ever see these. No.
What?
I don't know what you're talking Arrested Development, if anyone knows what I'm talking about.
Yes, definitely. So then we come up with Universal, we fly in, and here we go. So we're going into the world.
It looks like
Epic
a very nice
music.
boat.
So yeah, we see the shot of this boat heading towards the island. And what's cool is this actually kind of feels a little nostalgic of when we got to see the helicopter shot in the first one,
definitely
heading towards the island. So I really appreciated that they kind of had a callback to the originals. So the movie comes out June 12th.
That's soon.
And then we get to see the iconic shot. Go ahead,
guys. We got to roll on a break real quick.
Let's
I'm
run
sorry.
a break.
Time is going way too fast here tonight. Alex and Arthur in the house here tonight with G.A.M.E. We want to thank Chris for coming by. It was a great couple of hours. We're talking about movie trailers. Call in 801-254-5855 to win some prizes. We got a lot more to cover. Stick around.
All right, everybody, we are back. AM 630 Fringe Radio presents Game and Movie Empire Show. I am your host, Waddy McFly.
And I'm out of breath, almost fell out of my chair, Arthur.
He literally almost, the break scared him. He was like, holy crap. Yeah, we also want to thank Pat. Without him, he's here. This is his radio show. Without him.
It's an honor to have you guys here and appreciate it. And again, hopefully everybody's enjoying it, and we'll continue. Like I said, wanted to do this for a long time, had to find the right folks, and we definitely found the right folks. It's an honor to have you here. So not only from AM 630, but of course Inception Radio and our new partner at 93.95 kilohertz Global 24 Radio. And if international callers want to call in, they can call in or email. Love to hear from people across the pond, as they say.
Yeah, and anyone can win these prizes that we're announcing. We just send them through email, and you can get them. So regardless where you're from, please call in or email us, and we'll get them going.
Exactly.
So we left kind of at a cliffhanger because we got right to where the doors are opening, and we see Jurassic World.
Oh, we are analyzing the Jurassic World trailer, if anyone is just getting here.
Yes, so please follow along with us, jump onto YouTube or whatever, and watch the trailer with us. So we see the doors open, Jurassic World, and we're going inside the park on some tram thingy. And then we get this shot of tons of people. You said it reminded you of something.
Disneyland.
It reminded
you
of
SeaWorld.
Disneyland.
SeaWorld, yeah.
Yeah, of SeaWorld. And actually, if you look back here, it almost looks like you can see the Oakley symbol. I don't know if that's really.
Well, I mean, they got to sell something on that.
And also,
Are you
they
sure
released.
it's,
Yeah,
Oh, I was going to say that's Star Wars, the Slush Show.
the Slush
You
Show.
didn't see Slush Show in there, sorry.
But and then I'm just trying to get as much as I can here. You see a bunch of Jurassic Park, and it looks like the signs are all in different languages or something. Morande Jurassic, something like that. Yeah, you see one over here in some kind of writing. And then, yeah, and I mean, another thing to note is that there was a trailer released, I don't know if you actually got to see this, for the Hilton at Jurassic World. I thought that was really cool. They showed like a advertisement for the Hilton, but it being at Jurassic World. So, yeah, we see all these people, and then Arthur's going to explain. We see for the first time, what did we just see? What is that?
A flock of gallimimus.
Which is also a callback to the other.
Yeah. It looks just like that shot in the first Jurassic.
And I'm kind of liking it because we're kind of feeling this very familiar world that we've already experienced. So, yeah, and then we see some stegosauruses. Is that the right term? They're
well,
right
they look
there
like
feeding brachiosaurs.
Or wait, which shot are we at?
We're at this one, the one where all that, yeah.
Well, a little of both, Stegosaurus, Brachiosaurus.
And we're seeing some
like
people kayaking down the river.
I don't know if that's safe. I
don't know. Who knows? And then we kind of come up here.
Maybe they can't swim and it's really deep water.
Yeah, maybe. And then we see this really cool, like, spherical tour guide thingy, I'm assuming. It's like this vehicle.
In the last shot it says gyrosphere.
Oh, gyro, really? Okay, so
yeah,
we
there's
get
a little sign that says gyrosphere.
Yeah, and we see some long necks, as I call them. Oh, there you go. And it goes through, and then we kind of get another shot. Now this shot, so we see here, it's a stadium full of people overlooking maybe the ocean, or no, it can't be the ocean. They can't.
I hope it's not the ocean.
But it almost looks like SeaWorld-esque, and we see this huge shark come by, and we see this huge
mosasaur.
Is that? Oh, you really know these words?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're not just
it's technically not a dinosaur; it's an aquatic reptile.
Ooh, we're gonna have to call them up. We're gonna have to call them up and just.
But yeah. Anyway.
So that's cool. Then they all get splashed, just like SeaWorld.
You know, one thing I did want to say is like, I love SeaWorld, regardless of what you may think about it. But, like, the splash zone for that has got to be,
That'd
like...
be huge. Yeah, that's true.
And with such a cool, big, massive monster, I just hope it eats someone.
Yeah, well, I'm sure
That's all.
We'll see something. Maybe a trainer or something. But that's the thing is, like, why would it eat a human? Like, that wouldn't even, like, phase it. They'd be like, okay, that was like brine shrimp
But
to
it's
me.
scary.
That is true. That is scary. All right, we see this helicopter come down, and we see this scientist, which is played by Bryce Howard, I believe her name is. Dallas, that's right. And we see all these eggs. So now she says that we have a genetic hybrid dinosaur. So I guess they just got bored of dinosaurs.
Yeah, because dinosaurs. Who cares about dinosaurs?
Yeah, let's play God because that worked so great last time. And yeah, we get to see these bones.
Yeah, I don't know what are they growing it starting with the bones?
I don't know.
I don't know what that's about.
That is pretty interesting there. And then we kind of go through scary music.
Kind of sounded like Godzilla there for a second.
It did, didn't it, for a second? Yeah, that's true. Maybe it was the same composer. And then Chris Pratt's like, that's a bad idea.
And he has a...
Oh, he really does say that.
And he has a mustache. It looks
so now we get to see this like huge wall, and you're getting there, and there's all these claw marks, huge claw marks. So we know that it can't be like a T-Rex type creature. I mean, it might be, but his arms those claws. The T-Rex claws couldn't have done that.
Well, I get the impression it's going to be bigger than the T-Rex.
I'm sure. I'm sure it'll be like.
Why make a new dinosaur if it's? I don't know.
Yep. See more shots of that. And then we get to see
a giant bone. It eats.
You do see this giant bone back here. I did not notice that was a bone.
It eats giant chickens.
Yeah. And then we get to see here the classic do. And now obviously stuff has gone down.
I really like that shot of the helmet that's split open.
Yes.
Because you kind of see some blood.
Yes.
And there wasn't really a lot of blood.
Well, in the trailer.
In the other movies.
Well,
So I
apart
wonder-
from him getting picked up into the waterfall
Sure.
and blood just comes
Sure,
dripping
but
like crazy.
for the most part, they weren't very.
It's true. It's true.
So
I mean,
wonder
it
if
still
they-
will be PG-13, and I'm sure they want to appease some kids, but who knows? Maybe we will see a lot more.
It seems like there's more blood in the trailer than you get to see in the other ones.
So yeah, we see a bunch of destruction here. Oh, and I love this shot. I did not even notice this, but I was too focused on his watch, which his watch looks like a radar-looking
Oh,
thing.
it's a smartwatch. Wow.
Yeah, but if you look, a piece of, you were talking about blood, some blood drops down on his arm and he looks up. So something, either he's looking up at something that just killed something and blood is dripping from its mouth, which is probably what it is, or
it's just something dead.
Yeah, something dead up in a tree or something like that. So that's pretty terrifying.
Definitely. Oh, you know what?
What's that?
They jumped off a waterfall. Why would you do that?
Thank you, Arthur. They jumped off a waterfall. What a
must
plot
be-
twist.
They must be running from something.
I just love how sincere you were about that. You're right. They did jump off a waterfall.
I just never noticed
so here's
it before.
Here is the first, supposedly, the first official shot that we get. It's only a teaser of the actual dinosaur that they create. Here he is. He's chasing after what it looks like Chris Pratt. And if you can,
I assume it's Chris Pratt.
if I can get a good shot here, there we go. So it looks like it has feet of a T-Rex, but his hands are long.
They do look longer.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, and then we see people running away. Oh no! And then we see the iconic run. And then we see the Jurassic Park world. Now, before we continue, this is the best part of all time.
Yes.
We get to, so the Jurassic Park thing shines up. This is what causes a lot of people, it caused up a lot of stir on the internet. And what we do is so first we see velociraptors. I'll wait for you to get there.
No, I know what's happening.
Okay, so we see these doors open and out shoot these velociraptors, just booking it. And so we're like, what is going on? Then we hear a motorcycle, a motorcycle. We hear a motorcycle, and we see Chris Pratt. He looks very determined. Maybe somebody got taken or is in trouble, and he's going after to go get him. But he's not alone, is he, Arthur?
No, that's funny because he's right next to a bunch of velociraptors.
They are following him, and the thing that's interesting is they're not running away from him. If you notice,
They're not eating him either.
And they're not eating him. And they're not eating him either, but if you notice, they actually look over at him, almost like they're following him. At least we don't know what exactly is going on in this, but at least what I can tell, it almost looks like they're following a pack. Like it's almost like he's the leader of a pack. And as we learned in the third movie, I don't want to talk about the third movie too much, but we do. I mean, the greatest part about that movie was the velociraptors and how they could talk to each other and kind of
great visual effects.
Yeah, definitely. So we learned that they hunt in packs, and they're very pack oriented creatures. So what's interesting is that happens. So Arthur? What are your thoughts? What do you think that means? What is going on there?
Well, that does bring up an interesting point. Maybe he's like part of the pack. I read an interview from Chris Pratt, and he doesn't necessarily give anything away, but he left it a little ambiguous as to whether or not to how friendly his relationship with the raptors were, and he kind of cited examples of how people can become friends with other dangerous animals.
Oh, interesting.
Which is true, because there's this guy who I'm sure you could find it on YouTube. He roughhouses with lions, like actual lions. Like those are dangerous animals. So it's not. Maybe if you raise them right, they don't kill you immediately. I
think either someone mentioned that maybe they use some kind of scent that he has to use to get them a little more, but I feel like you raise them from babies, you are with them often, you feed them, you bring them. it happens in nature all the time. I don't think we don't know. we haven't had velociraptors in our lives, and we can't say. But the internet has kind of exploded with, oh, there's no way that could have happened. Like, now I don't want to see the movie. This is unrealistic, but it's a movie. I mean, come on.
It is a movie about resurrecting dinosaurs.
Yeah, exactly. So, regardless of, it's just a cool idea. Whether it's real or could happen or not, I feel like it's a sweet idea. Velociraptors scared me as a kid. Even to this day, I still get terrified of velociraptors. I love those movies, and it's not like I'm scared to watch them. But I'm like, I am just like, I still have nightmares of them to this day, of me running away from velociraptors. Not much of zombies, velociraptors, man.
It's because they're smart, I think.
Yeah,
and they're small enough to fit in a house.
Yeah, true, exactly. Yeah. And they can get around, and they're smart. And even in the first movie, the greatest scene is you see a velociraptor sitting there, and he's like feeding, and it's kind of just like doing its own thing. But the whole time, that is just a trap. Like, it's smart enough to set a trap, and then he looks over, clever girl, and then just gets destroyed. So, yeah. What were your thoughts about the trailer?
I loved the first movie. The others were kind of a disappointment.
Yes.
I think it's going to be good. Probably going to be a little more blood and guts gory, I got a feeling.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little more darker, a little darker film. I am kind of sad to see that Sam Neill or Jeff Goldblum aren't in it. I know there was a lot of talks when they were, stuff buzz on the internet, they were going to be in the movie. Looks like a whole new cast, but that's good. Maybe that's what it takes.
Yeah, I think what they're doing great is that they're playing on what made the first movie awesome.
And you know what was cool about the first movie?
What's that?
Back then, Samuel Jackson was in it. He was the chain-smoking computer programmer.
Yeah.
He was nobody back then.
Oh, yeah.
He was playing all these. I watched the original movie. I caught it a couple of, I don't know, it's probably 4 or 5 months ago, maybe longer than that. And I didn't realize. Always saw Newman from Seinfeld in there, but never realized that was Samuel L. Jackson. And
hold on to your butts.
Yep, that's right. That's right. He didn't even look the same because he wore the sweater and and more of the Morgan Freeman look, But good. Interesting.
Says how old he is.
Exactly.
No, definitely. I gotta say, I love. And they're just playing really well on what we love from the show, and I think the problem with out of many, one of the problems that we had was that we went to worlds that didn't have any people in it, like they were all like abandoned, and the island. We went on the island that had no people in it. And it's just great to have a park because you have all these people. There's going to be a lot of carnage and a lot of all this cool stuff.
There are a lot of people that can get eaten this time around.
Yes,
more so than before.
Well, awesome. Well, I think we're almost going to head to a break here in a little bit, in a couple of minutes. So we are getting emails in. We will pick a winner before the night is over. But I think we're going to give away something. We're going to do another question and give away some games. So I don't know what you need to just. Yeah, it's right here. Yes. When you whisper, they can still hear you.
Yeah, I know. I'm whispering and hoping you guys don't hear what I say.
Arthur has 2 games to give away. Yes. So this is going to be awesome. So tell them what games it is.
All right. Wait, I'm giving both away at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're lucky because it's going to be Dead Space. These are Steam codes, so these are for the PC. I have Dead Space and Fez.
Both awesome games.
Yes, definitely. I really, really love these games. So the question is Jurassic Park related. In the first Jurassic Park movie, what island does it take place on? So you can go ahead and just email Watson at J-WAT, J-W-A-T.
S-O-N.
Oh, sorry, Watson.
Yes, sorry. Watson at JWATproductions.com. That's J-WAT with 1 T, JWATproductions.com. Or you can call us at
801-254-5854.
I'll memorize this so you don't have to say it. So, yeah, we're going to take a break here.
NBC News is up, and we'll be back on the other side. We've got a lot more questions that have come in for you. All right, everybody. Welcome back to Fringe Radio and Game on the 29th of November in 2014. Hopefully everybody is having a great weekend, great holiday weekend. A lot of, I got stuck working. I don't know. Did you guys have to work this weekend?
Yeah, well, no, not too much, I guess.
I was supposed to, but they let me go home. That was very
well,
nice.
That was cool. Yeah. That was cool.
Sorry
yeah,
about that.
I wasn't supposed to, but I'm on call this week, and boy, I got just nailed the past couple of days. So it seems like the week, just a normal weekend. But did you guys have a good holiday?
Yeah, definitely a lot of good spending time with family, and
Yep,
that
that's what
was
it's
the
all
most
about.
important. But
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
some Black Friday deals were pretty
That
nice.
was fun too.
Did you go out shopping last night at 3 in the morning?
Well, no, not at 3 in the morning. I just went at 6, and then he came and joined me. We just
Yeah.
got a bunch of Blu-rays. That's mostly
Cool,
what we do.
cool,
Yeah.
very good. Yeah, I know. And what isn't it? So now we've got what cyber. Well, today is Small Business Saturday.
Is
Oh,
that
I didn't
true?
know that.
Did
I
they
didn't
call
know
it
that.
Yep. And then Monday is Cyber Monday.
You know
and then
that.
Isn't it Giving Tuesday or something?
It should be. And if it isn't, then it should be.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Want to say good evening to all of our listeners. Hope you're enjoying the program, whether you're listening to us through the Inception Radio Network, the Listen Live link at k-talk.com, and please go check out the website for the radio station, www.k-talk.com. You can download the Android or iPhone app and take K-Talk on the go with you wherever. If you're listening to us on AM 630 here in Sandy, Salt Lake City, or Global 24 Radio, our broadcast partner, WRMI Broadcasting on 93.95 kilohertz in the international shortwave band. I want to say good morning to all of our international listeners. We appreciate the opportunity to be a part of Global 24 Radio. You go to the chat room at InceptionRadioNetwork.com. The whole gang's still in the chat room. Catch us on the World Wide Web at FringeRadioshow.com, on Facebook and Twitter as well. The call-in number up and down the Wasatch Front, 801-254-5855. That's 801-254-5855. Of course, tonight our new show, Game and Movie Empire, with Watson and Alex. It's an honor to have both you gentlemen here. We talked about this for a long time. It's finally here.
Yes.
And the response
Yay.
is really good.
Yeah,
Next
absolutely.
weekend, we'll kind of shift gears back a little bit. Larry Holocomb will be here. He's a ufologist. And Nathan Couch is going to be here as well. But you will, Alex and Arthur will be here the last Saturday of December.
Yep.
So they'll be getting that show lined up. Real quick, couple things, real quick, before we get back into it.
Sure.
With the holiday coming up and Cyber Monday and all this shopping going on, we haven't really gotten into the gaming thing. We've been talking about a little bit, but we've been talking about movies and stuff like that. What do you suggest to our listeners if they want to get their kids or grandkids something? What is a good device? What's a good way to go in the gaming world if you want to get your kids involved? What would you guys suggest?
A Wii. That probably would be what I would, suggest.
That's certainly not a bad suggestion. I mean, depending on how old the kids are, like
True.
if they're under 10, like Disney Infinity is really big. I think that's on most of
And a lot of adults like it too. So.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like this thing where you buy toys which are extra, but like you can take a character from Monsters Inc. and then like a pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean and play with them together and that sort of thing.
It can get expensive.
Yes.
So, it depends on really what you're looking for and what the kid
But
likes.
there's educational stuff there as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's definitely with the Wii too. There's a lot of cool like little games that help teach with stuff like that. And the Wii is, the thing that I think parents also need to understand is if you're going to invest in something, more than $200, I think you should also think about it's worth for you as well. Mm-hmm. Like for example, Xbox One, it has this cool like TV feature where you can plug in your TV into your Xbox, from your cable box, and you can control everything from there. So if you want something that both your kids might enjoy and you can still enjoy, there's that route. PS4, I have a PS4 and it's awesome. But more educational games, you'll find educational in most systems, but if you're looking for something small that you don't want to invest too much money in, a DS is really nice. That's the Nintendo's handheld device, and that's really nice. And there's a lot of great educational games on there.
So a lot of good deals. Local, a lot of the big box stores here locally have them online.
Yeah.
Of course, you can get the stuff as well. And we do promote supporting local businesses support us, keep us on the air. But yeah, that's good to know, because again, I know a lot of people, and I got some emails about that, said, hey, what's a good way for me to go for a great Christmas gift for my kids or even the grandkids?
Yeah, definitely. That would be what I would suggest.
And like you said, something cool though, that when they go to bed, you can load something in and have fun yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of times the older generation feel like games are only for kids, but I'll tell you, last time we were on, there was an older gentleman who said that he plays Skyrim, and that's awesome. Like, there's games for everybody. I just think if they give it a chance, you'd find them.
Gotcha.
So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you want to? We got a bunch of questions sent in. Want to go through them?
Yeah, let's go through them, and then we need to announce our prizes.
Yep.
So.
And also, I want to do a little shout-out. I doubt he's listening tonight, but Matty Beckerman was on the program here several months ago. He is the producer-director of Alien Abduction. It's on Netflix right now.
Oh, yeah, I got to watch that.
If you want something scary, I mean, it's going to scare the living heck out of you, go check it out.
Definitely.
Nothing really gory, but don't turn up the speakers too loud. That's all I can say. All right, our good friend Bill in upstate New York writes in, says, Alex and Arthur, how do you think the reboot of Fantastic Four will be, and also Terminator Genesis in 2015?
Should we start with Fantastic Four?
Yeah, because I feel like your feelings are a lot more heavy on the Terminator than the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that might be true. I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest, like, I didn't even watch the first Fantastic Four just because I didn't hear anything good about it. So that being said, it's probably going to be better. I mean, right? Like, they can only go up, I hope. I'd like to think that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it should be a little bit better. I mean, they've also said that it's going to take place in obviously the X-Men universe and Deadpool universe. So, I think if they play off that, like we've actually got to see with Avengers and stuff, it could definitely be cool. Now, as far as what we've heard so far about the new Terminator, Arthur, if you would. I mean, the only cool thing I know about it is that Matt Stone. Wait, whoa, sorry, Matt Smith. Wow. How can I not remember
I'm pretty
one
sure
of the best
Matt
Doctor
Stone, one of the creators of South Park.
Oh, so it's
probably not
so
him.
it's probably Matt Smith. But one of the Doctor Who characters is going to be a big character in the new Terminator. So that
you mean
Matt
like
Smith,
a
that's his name.
crossover or the actor?
No. It's the actor.
Okay.
The actor is going to be
making
in it.
sure.
No, you're fine.
That throw.
So as far as that goes, the only thing I've heard about is that it's going to be what they've revealed about the plot, and I really hope this isn't true. I really hope I got this wrong. But that Sarah Connor is raised by the Terminator. So for her whole life, she actually was raised by a Terminator and who is protecting her. And then it's almost like a prequelish type thing, I guess. I'm not quite sure what's going on.
Arnold's
there.
back in this.
Yeah,
correct?
that's what I mean.
That's
He's the
true.
one who raises her, which then raises the question: why is she so afraid of him? I don't know. It just doesn't seem to fit too well in the universe.
Well, I think it kind of depends on how you do time travel too, because you can do the time travel that's dependent on the future, or the time travel where it creates kind of another dimension.
Sure.
So I mean that could explain some of the time travel issues depending on how they do that.
And they're both due out this year, correct?
Well, I mean 2015.
2015.
Right.
But
I
yeah,
believe so.
I believe.
I don't think they've released a trailer.
Yeah, Fantastic Four says 2015.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the other one though either. But yeah, any other questions?
Yes, a bunch of them actually.
And sorry, a few people were asking about where they can go for the chat.
Oh, yeah. If you want to join the chat, go to InceptionRadioNetwork.com and click on the chat live.
Okay. There you go. So
and
sorry,
you will
next
be
question?
more than welcome in there. Next question is, let's talk Walking Dead a little bit.
Okay.
There's listener says talking about a spin-off. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, so I heard that they're going to be making a Walking Dead that takes place not in the United States. They've mentioned probably in England or the UK, somewhere around there. I'm very excited about it if they make it as good as they've been making these other Walking Deads. I mean, I'm totally for it. He's not huge into Walking Dead.
Well,
but
I'd like to watch it eventually.
Yeah, tell him your policy.
My policy, just so everyone knows, is I don't watch TV series until they've completed because I don't like waiting every week. Like, I started watching Breaking Bad, and I watched all 4 seasons all in a row. Like, I can't wait like an entire day for the next episode, let alone like
a week
from one season to the
Right.
next. So, but I love the video game.
Yes, the video games are great for sure. So
another question is, what are your thoughts of possibly a Doctor Who crossover into some film?
Any film?
Well, I know that a lot of people wanted to do Doctor Who crossed over to Sherlock, and that would just be a dream come true. So I would love it. I think Doctor Who can fit in almost anything. That's the really cool thing about Doctor Who is since he has a time machine, I mean, he can go anywhere, he can be a part of anything, and so, I mean, I would totally be down to do that. That'd be awesome. So
Gotcha.
perfect.
Another question, couple more questions, and I mentioned this to you on the break. Cindy up at the U writes in and says, guys, there's some the movie stuff getting released. I think she sent quite a long email, and I'm trying to condense it. Gotcha. A lot of times right after Comic-Con, especially the San Diego Comic-Con, that's where they tend to release a lot of stuff. Now, my understanding at the Comic-Con, they did release a teaser for the Batman versus Superman
I heard about
movie.
that. Uh-huh.
There are people now that are making, she indicated there are people now making trailers in cartoon formats to get around the legalese of some of these things. Have you ever heard of this? Your thoughts?
I think what she might be referring to is there's these trailers called How It Should Have Ended. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. I definitely know what those are. I wonder if she means like someone's putting a filter on it.
Something
to make
like
it
that.
look like
people,
a cartoon.
People do that all the time, but here's the great thing: if you can literally remake the trailer and make it completely your own, there is no legal obligation. You can cut up a trailer as much as you want, as long as you don't put the original trailer and throw it on your YouTube channel and say this is mine. You can cut up a YouTube channel and make it however you want. Do a cartoon version of it. I saw someone did a Lego remake of the Star Wars trailer. You should check it out. It's awesome.
Look at that sounds awesome.
I mean, that's the law. I mean, as long as they're not trying to say that it's theirs,
right,
then I'm okay with it. I mean,
because I remember when the first Iron Man movie came out at Comic-Con, the trailer was shown there, and that hit the internet all over the place.
Yeah.
And people got pretty worked up. I mean, well, not the people that got worked up was the legal department at Warner Brothers or whatever.
Sure.
I just was curious if and she was curious if that's something that you see from time to time.
We do definitely with making a YouTube channel. I mean, we use clips when we do review stuff, and that's legal. But sometimes but that's the thing. If Fox is like, no, you can't use that clip. Well, are we the little guys going to go up against a corporation with tons of money and all that stuff? Probably not.
I mean, it falls under fair use, but
right.
The thing is I don't know. I think it might be automated by Google and just flags it automatically. And you can what's the word? Not fight it, but you know what I mean.
Right.
You can say. You can kind of file an appeal, for lack of a better words.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they will allow it, but yeah, I mean it's to prevent. It's the people who steal other people's work trying to get money out of it. But
yeah, definitely.
That's the problem. But I mean, it is free advertisement.
Yeah, just people can be picky. So
yeah.
Another question is, and I asked you this during the break too. What's your thoughts? What do you believe the future in gaming will be? Some type of bodysuit and goggles to put a person in a completely and allow them to be completely immersed in a gaming experience, a real virtual reality type scenario.
I'm going to start with this one then. Like, you've got something like the Oculus Rift, which is
awesome.
It's way cool. It is. You put it over your eyes. It's kind of like goggles. When you move your head, it kind of feels like you're moving inside of the video game, and it's really neat. And they're talking about applications for movies and documentaries as well as like video games or like live concert experiences, which I think is all really cool. The problem with kind of virtual reality is it's like you can't interact with things that aren't real. There's no like feedback. You can't physically touch the things. My personal, if I had to guess, I mean, this would be like, I don't know, let's just say 20 years from now, is you're just going to control it with your brain and it'll be like the Matrix. That's my guess.
Yep. I'm with him. That sounds about right.
Sounds good. Sounds good. We want to talk a little bit about, what do you guys want to cover? I know you had some more things we're
going to quickly announce the winners of our last two things. So first, the person who won the Redbox rentals is, let me get his name, Daniel Wood. So Daniel Wood, if you could, message us on Facebook or email me again. We just need to get a few information from you. Also, thank you so much for Jake, who called in with the answer for the Steam codes. If you could also message us, we will get those to you. So we still have a couple more prizes to give out. But yeah, so now we're going to jump into video game segment of this. Yay! So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about broken games. Could you kind of elaborate why we chose this topic and something like that?
So basically, Ubisoft comes out with Assassin's Creed Unity. A few things about it. First of all, there was a embargo on reviews for the video game.
What does embargo mean?
Well, embargo, I wish I had a dictionary in front of me. It just means that people were not allowed to publish reviews.
It means I'm in a bar, I gotta go.
Yeah. But yeah, so people weren't able to, the people that were given the game beforehand weren't able to publish reviews until after the pre-orders, which understandably could get people a little mad about that. But the other thing is people seem to think that the game was very buggy and, I don't know. You want to elaborate on that?
So, I mean, yeah. So, the thing with me with this is, what I wanted to talk about is what does a broken game mean? And it seems like, we've kind of had a lot of flood of, like, people coming and, we've talked about a lot about this, me and you. But what is a broken game? To me, it means when something's broken, it means you can't use it. It is unusable to the point that it doesn't work. So when I saw a lot of these, first off with this embargo, whether that was a low blow or not, it seemed like a lot of these rumors were starting to be spread by the people, by the big review people that were like, this game is broken, we're going to give this awful review for it. But I bought Assassin's Creed Unity, I pre-ordered it, I went and I played it, and I gotta tell you, I've seen a lot of pictures of people saying, oh, they didn't render out his face, or, and I gotta say, I did not see any of that. I had hardly any glitches. There was a few frame rate issues for sure, and rendering a few things, and I'm not gonna lie, there was one part where I was running around as the assassin, and one of the NPCs, I don't know if it's technically an NPC, but he was up in a tree, and he was like, help me, sir, help me. And I don't think he was supposed to be there. But I gotta tell you, I played throughout the whole game, I beat it, and I did not find a bug. I do not think it is technically a broken game. And, do I dare say that was it perfect by any means? I mean, no. But I think us as gamers, we're very passionate about our games. Like, a lot of us feel like it's ours. Like, a lot of us feel like we paid $60, so we own the game. And it's like, we may own that copy, but as far as what happens in that game's universe, it's not really up to us. So, and guys, it's a game. Like, it's not a movie. Like, there's a lot of challenging things that go into making movies, but to build an entire world from the ground up, like from a team, and then also do voice actors, and then also do the lighting, and then also port it, and also do all these things, it's not an easy task.
No.
And I feel like we don't give much, like, we're really quick to judge, is what I'm saying.
Definitely. Not to mention that, like, the games are getting bigger and bigger, so the teams are getting bigger and bigger, and, like, the problems that were just easier to hide before, there's just more of them. I mean, just the fact is the games are bigger, there's more problems. I mean, what do you expect? But like, one thing that you kind of brought up, oh man, my mind just went blank. Isn't that fun? You're on the radio live, mine goes blank.
Broken games, a guy cut up in a tree, pre-ordering. I don't know. I'm trying to help you.
No, you're fine. But like, what is a $60 game worth? I mean, like, how about this? I bought a copy of The Hobbit: Desolation of Smaug, and there are a couple shots in there when they're in the barrels going down like the river that were like made with GoPros. And I kind of think that might be broken. Like, it's broken, you know.
Oh,
but like, I mean, I'm just teasing. But like, just because you don't like something in like a movie or a game or whatnot, like, whatever. I mean, you paid for it, you accept it, warts and all, right? I mean, you don't pay for it, or you sell it back to someone else because you didn't like it. I don't know. I mean, there's lots of options.
I mean, and there's a lot of risk that comes into it. So, whether it's a new game or not, but I want you to talk about. You told me about a game that you played that was broken. And this is the example that I want to use for something that is broken.
Sure. So I played a game called Call of Cthulhu. This game I actually really enjoyed. It looked like it was made in 1999, but it was made in like 2006. So like it feels almost like it was not quite finished. So it had some bugs. But Call of Cthulhu, there is this part in the game where you're on a ship and you're supposed to shoot this monster and you literally can't see it. You can't see it. You can't do it. I like looked online and they're like, oh, you just have to shoot here and here. And like, okay, so you just aim at the invisible monster and kill it. That's the only way you could beat it. Like, that's a broken game when you can't even beat it, like, properly. Like, but I mean, usually those things get patched, but that was an unfortunate situation where, like, the developers kind of went under. But, that happens too, but...
Yeah.
Ryan commented and said, was Far Cry 2, did it have a lot of problems?
Far Cry 2 or 4? Did you say 2?
2.
Oh, well, I've played Far Cry 2.
I never beat it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I could say...
There was a bug that wouldn't let me beat one of the missions. That's why I stopped playing.
Oh, see.
So, I don't know, maybe it is broken.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember it being too bad, but, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of things that... I mean, it just depends on what you mean is broken. If you can't play missions, if you can't shoot, the main boss, I feel like it's broken. But if it has a few glitches, I mean, that's video games. And especially if you're creating a massive world, like a free roam world, like Far Cry 2 did, and Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4, you just gotta have some leeway. I mean, Far Cry 4, I've also played and pre-ordered. I haven't beaten it yet. I have fallen through the map once. But I don't think it's a terrible game. Like I've only fallen it through once out of the hours I've put into it. So, do we have a caller?
Yeah, you want to take another call?
Yeah, let's have a caller. Hey, caller, you're on the line. What's up?
Hey, I've never played any of those games. I see grandkids playing them, and they look like 3D. It's like it's pretty great. Always have other stuff to do, darn it. And so, but I played Pong.
There you go.
That's dating you, Harv.
So, it was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't very good at it, but I sure did like it. But, they brought up, you guys were talking about movies.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and, I don't know, it's like when they bring the superheroes to the screen, it loses the magic of imagination, almost. Mm-hmm. Maybe a lot of people like things like the foursome you were talking about. Man, I tell you, wow. How about, why didn't they ever make one about Flash?
About what? Sorry?
Flash.
Are you talking about the superhero?
Yeah, Flash and Superman had a race one time.
Uh-huh.
A foot race.
Don't they have a live action television series of
They
Flash
just
now?
came out with
Yeah,
the
it
Flash
just came out with
television
the
show.
Flash. Yeah.
You may want to look into that.
I don't watch TV.
Well, there you go then. They'll need to make a movie then, huh?
Okay, well, shame on me.
You're fine, man.
There's a lot of media to consume.
Yeah, and plus, I don't know if those guys all turned into superheroes because they got radioactive up in space. Is that how it went? And how about?
I think that's a Fantastic Four, right?
Sure.
Something like that?
Yeah, the Fantastic Four did.
Fantastic Four. Is that how it was in the original?
I don't know too much about the Fantastic Four. I can't tell you. I know that Superman was born on another planet and came here and is an alien.
Yeah, his parents shot him off, It's like, well, but
Yep.
I didn't mean nothing by it. The planet's going to explode. Is this sending to Earth?
Yeah.
Wow, how cool.
Yeah, that's
I wasn't real excited about that series either. I don't know. It lost something in translation. Maybe it was just me, huh? I don't know. Could be. I expected more.
Yeah, everyone has their opinion. That's the great thing about superhero movies is there's one for everybody.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't lose the flavor.
Yeah.
Well, check into the race between Superman and Flash.
Okay.
And it was a tie.
Of course.
And the reason it was is because it had to be because they had all sorts of dubious characters betting on the race. And so that all the dubious characters lost. And how about that Mordru, the magician that was trying to kill Superman? Why didn't somebody make a movie about that? That was the greatest thing of all time. That was when comics were 12 cents.
Yeah, that's right. Back in the good days, now everything's so expensive.
All right, and and then when I came back from school, I was walking uphill again.
Both ways.
In the snow. With no shoes on.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, well, whatever. All right. I'm so glad we had this together.
Well, you have a good weekend, Harvey. Hopefully you had a good Thanksgiving, too.
It was pretty wonderful. Everybody's healthy. And
as long as you're upright, vertical, and sucking air, that's all it's about.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody's healthy. We're not, terribly wealthy. And let's see, what's the last one? Wise. Oh yeah, the grandkids, wise asses.
Hey, you have a good weekend, okay?
All right, guys.
Take care, my friend.
Fun
Thank
listening to you.
Bye.
Peace out.
Hey, Ryan writes in, this is off Inception. It looks like the gamers have taken over Inception Radio, but that's fine.
A little.
That's fine. Ryan writes, says, guys, a lot of folks here not into gaming yet. Can you guys do a gaming part of next show on some more inclusive and introductory stuff, more like casual and indie stuff, and the uninitiated might really love and get into it?
Yeah, I think we could do that.
We love those kind of stuff, so
Definitely.
yeah, we could definitely bring some stuff like that. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, well, and that's what it's all about. If there's guests that you'd like to have them get on the show, or me get on the show when we're not doing game, send us an email. Send it to what's your for J-WAT? It's
Watson at JWATproduction.com. That's WATSON at JWAT, which is JWAT1T Productions.com.
Right. And if you've got questions for these guys, call in. A lot of great calls tonight at 801-254-5855. That's 801-254-KTKK. Another question that came through from our good friend from the East Coast, Durhuff, writes in, says, can you ask them when the next Bethesda is in the next version of Fallout? What have they heard, if anything? Thank you.
Man, well, I know everyone's been asking and begging for it, and everyone was expecting at E3 that they were going to announce the next Fallout, but they didn't, and they have said it's in production. I know that they have said that. Don't fall over again, Arthur.
When's the last, other than Elder Scrolls Online, I mean, it's been a while since they've released...
Yeah.
Other than Skyrim, so that may just be the right time for a new Fallout game.
Hopefully next year. That'd be sweet on next-gen Fallout. That'd be awesome. Yeah, perfect.
Very, very good. Another question that came in from Daniel. Daniel says, "What are some of your personal favorite games?"
Okay. Well, Daniel, I will have to say anything from Rockstar mostly that I've played, I've really enjoyed. The Grand Theft Auto series is my favorite, mostly because I just love the stories that they put into it, crime stories. I'm also a huge fan of Legend of Zelda. I think I've played every single Zelda that's been on consoles so far, but I am looking into getting into the everything else that's been on handheld and stuff. So I'm sure I'll think of more, but right now that's the short answer.
Well, it's pretty good. For me, definitely Half-Life 2 is my favorite game. I also love Portal, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, and Jedi Outcast.
All right, looks like we're going to
take our last break.
Okay.
Our guests here, well, not our guests, but our guys here in studio tonight, Arthur and Alex from G.A.M.E.
Yay.
And we want to thank Chris for stopping by. One last set of commercials. Fringe Radio at fringeradioshow.com.
You're traveling to another dimension.
Hello and welcome back to Fringe Radio Presents the game and movie Empire.
Got a caller on hold. You want to pick him up?
Yeah.
Real quick? All right,
sure.
Let's go ahead and pick him up real quick.
Hello, caller. How are you?
Hi.
Good. How are you?
Good.
Doing great. This is Steven?
Yes.
All right, Steven. How are you? Let's. What question do you have for us today?
Good. So I just had a comment and then a question.
Please.
About the gentleman who called in talking about the superheroes, how back in the day the comic books were the imagination. I agree with him 100%, but the film today has changed into the comic books of yesterday.
Yeah.
With the creation of these superheroes. And with that said, I'm going to throw my favorite superhero in there, Batman.
Awesome. Why do you like Batman?
Because Batman is not a superhero. He is a hero. You know, people throw out the fact that he's just a rich man that throws gadgets everywhere and stuff like that. But Batman has no superpowers.
Right.
All of what he does is taught. And the thing with Batman is he vows that he'll never kill because he doesn't agree with that.
Right.
And with that said, what do you guys feel about the upcoming Batman game being released?
Ooh.
Yeah, we are huge fans of... First off, I want to add to your argument with Batman being awesome. I believe Superman said that there's one person that he's afraid of, and that is Batman. And so, if Superman, the Man of Steel, like one of the most biggest superheroes of all time, is scared of Batman, he isn't somebody who can just be thrown aside. So I'm adding that onto your comment as well.
And I do want to throw something out there. If you haven't heard of it, I just saw yesterday a Batman fighting Darth Vader video online.
Oh man, that looks great.
It's like Super Beatdown. Look up Batman versus Darth Vader Super Beatdown. And it's awesome. You'll like it.
But yeah, the games, I've played every single one. I've beaten every single one. And the new one, have you seen the trailers for the new one? The new video game?
Yes, I have.
Oh man, getting the Batmobile and be able to drive around the city, it's just what we've been waiting for, I feel.
But now the new there's no new trailer out for the movie yet, correct?
No, I don't believe so. I mean, some have surfaced of what they showed at Comic-Con, but no. I think the video game is what we're referring to. Yeah, there's some really cool stuff with that. So, yeah, definitely.
Definitely, yeah. I'm upgrading my video card just for that game. So yeah. I'm way excited.
So this one seems to be like a more open world, like the last Tomb Raider. Do you think that's the case with this new one?
I hope so. I mean, that's what they're keep leading on to, and the one before the Arkham Origins. Yeah, that one was really open world, but I hear that it's going to be twice as big, as well as throwing in there. So I really hope it's more open world because that's what we want. So that would be awesome.
Cool. Well, thanks. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, thank you for calling in, you have a good day.
Have a good day. Good night.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Well, we have really quick. We might have a few more questions,
Yeah,
but
we do.
We have we want to give out something again,
Okay,
if you don't mind.
let's give it.
We're going to give out a
GameStop gift card.
A GameStop gift card, and it is my turn because you gave out the last thing.
Yes.
All right, so we're giving out a $25 GameStop gift card. Okay, so you can call in at
801-254-5855, or
you can email me at watson@jwatproductions.com. Watson@jwatproductions.com. That's one T at the J-WAT. The question is, since I love Grand Theft Auto so much, what Grand Theft Auto games take place in Liberty City, which is the parody of New York City? So call in and give us that answer, and you can win a $25 GameStop gift card. So cool. Do we have more questions, or do we want to continue on with what we got? What do you got for us?
Another question that came in from our good friend Durhuff writes in, says, can you ask the guys if they've heard anything about another Eleanor?
Oh, L.A. Noire.
L.A. Noire.
Well, I haven't heard that if there's gonna be another one. Although I would love another L.A. Noire.
Well, I know that at one time it was being made, but I don't know if it still is, honestly.
Gotcha. I mean, I personally think Rockstar should make a a Red Dead Redemption 2, which is a cowboy game. If you haven't heard of that, Pat. And it's so I hope they make another L.A. Noire. I hope they make a Red Dead Redemption 2. That's what I'm really hoping for that they're going to do before anything else. But we'll have to see with that. So great.
Were there any more questions?
No, I think
that was it for
all
right
right.
now.
We're going to continue on the show then. I think we only have time left for one thing I really wanted to. Oh, we got another caller.
All right,
let's do that. Hey, you're on AM 630. How can what do you got for us?
I'm just answering the question that they just asked about Grand Theft Auto.
All right, great. What's your answers?
Okay, I have not played much Grand Theft Auto, but I believe 3 and 4.
3 and 4. There's technically one more, but I think I'm going to give it to you because the third one, not a lot of people. There's Liberty Stories, but that one doesn't. It's okay. I'm going to still give it to you. What's your name?
Daniel Wood.
Daniel Wood. Awesome. So you won 2 things now, didn't you?
Yeah.
This guy's rolling in the stuff. Awesome. So just message me again and remind me, man. This is what you get for not calling in. Yes. Yes.
These guys need to step up their game.
Awesome, man. So are you enjoying the show so far?
Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I came in a bit late, but it's been fun.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate your support and talking to me just during the Utah Gamers Forum thing. So thank you so much, man.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
all
see
right.
you, Daniel.
Take care. Good night.
Okay, bye.
See?
Awesome.
More stuff.
Yeah, that's what you get if you don't want to. You got to be quick if you want to win the prizes. So
We
definitely.
got a few more minutes, so
Yeah, we do.
Do we want to cover our last kind of topic?
Yes, and then we also need to give away one more thing. We have one more gift to give away. Let's get that out of the way. So
All right,
that we
let's do
can-
that.
And Daniel Wood, you've already won 2 prizes. So, so this is for a Utah. It's a customized beanie from My Gamer Tag is what the Etsy store is called. They are kind of are one of our supporters. So what we're going to do is we have a YouTube channel, and what we want to do is we're kind of doing like a subscribe-a-thon type thing. So you're going to jump onto youtube.com/My J-WAT Productions. That's JW1T Productions. And you're going to subscribe to us, and we're going to keep track of who's subscribing. And those who subscribe to us, we're going to pick one of the winners to win one of those custom beanies. So jump on and do that while we continue the show.
Yeah, and our international listeners, too, that are listening to us on Global 24 Radio. Anywhere in the world, you're more than welcome to jump on. And again, if you want to call in, you're more than welcome to call in or email Watson. So
definitely, we love our international and all of our other people. So
yeah.
Please call in, and we're really enjoying what you've done with us so far. And so subscribe to our channel. We make funny gameplay videos and fun videos. So. All right, enough shameless plugging. Let's get to
our last topic.
Let's get to some of our last topics.
So we talked a little about kind of people feeling entitled. They spend $60 on a game. Like what should we be getting out of games? Like, I mean, what should $60 give you? Right? I mean.
And it's really picky because this isn't a movie ticket. We're paying $60 to play a video game, and so I get that the expectations are a little higher. But with me, I'm not that picky. If I can play a game and I can go through the story without, like we said, without it getting broken, like I'm fine with it having day one patches. I know that with the new Grand Theft Auto. Coming to the PS4, a lot of people are upset. Oh, really? A day one patch? But it's Grand Theft Auto. This world is the biggest world that's been on the console so far. And, you gotta give them a break. I'm sorry that it wasn't 100% perfect, but it isn't a movie. That's what I keep trying to say. But what do you think about it?
I think there's different ways to look at it. Do you want to pre-order a game, for example? If you should consider the potential risk, quote unquote. It's your money, do with it as you want. But if you think you might get burned, then maybe you shouldn't pre-order a game. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I wait a year for games to come out before I buy them.
So this is what makes me and Arthur different. I tend to be the sucker, and I am doing the quotations of I do like to pre-order games, and I do like to get them as soon as they come out. And Arthur, on the other hand, he likes to wait. They also are a bit cheaper, so that's always good for you. So
yeah, right now is the perfect time for me because Steam has these really massive sales towards the end of November and December.
They're great.
So you get a bunch of games that are a year or 2 years older, and you get them for way cheap. And that's the way I like to do it. Don't get me wrong. I just collect games sometimes. I don't play them.
But even then, I want to ask you this. Even then, is it safe? Have you still bought a game that you didn't like? That you didn't end up
how many
liking?
games have I bought that I didn't like?
Yeah,
Whatever.
See, and that's my argument. You're gonna run into games you're not gonna like regardless if you pre-order or don't.
Yeah, same as movies. You pay for a movie ticket. Right. You don't like it, they don't give you your money back.
Yeah. Some people ask for their money back, though.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's. And that's your right. If you don't like it, go ask your money back. Go trade in the game. You have a week with GameStop before you can get a full-on refund. So that's completely up to you.
How much time
we have? About 5 more minutes left. So let's with this last five minutes, let's cover, and then we'll obviously leave a few more minutes for you to play us out. And but some games that we're excited about in the future. What are you excited for?
Well, Steven, he mentioned Batman.
Yes.
Definitely.
Oh, yes.
Goodness.
We were going to get it this year, and then they pushed it back.
It's okay.
It's okay. Yes, I agree. I'd rather have a game be good than, rushed out of there. The new Legend of Zelda that they teased at E3 just looks amazing. And that's probably a game, you said this, so you said this first. We are probably going to buy a Wii U. Just because of that game.
Yeah,
and Super Smash Bros.
There's lots of good incentives to get a Wii U right now, but like I said, I usually wait till I can get a good deal.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Definitely.
But that is a game that, I don't know.
I hope they bundle it. That would be awesome.
Ooh, that'd be great. But yeah, that'd be a good game. I'm also very excited for Star Wars Battlefront.
Yes. We haven't seen too much of it.
No.
And EA has disappointed in the past, but I just got to look forward. Like, that's all I can say is, let's just look forward and be excited about it. Division, that's looking pretty cool. I love multiplayer games, but the thing is the friends I play with play it for a few weeks and then they're out. So, but I hear that Diversion, which actually is a Tom Clancy based game,
whatever that means.
Right, they use that pretty vaguely, but that should be a lot of fun.
But, yeah. And I'm going to say Evolve. I like how it's like a combination of Team Fortress 2 and like Left 4 Dead in the best ways possible.
And that's going to be fun. I will spend a lot of time on that game. And that comes out, that's late next year? That also got pushed, I believe. So that's kind of sad, but
it's supposed to come out this year.
Yeah, that's very true. Also, I'm just going to kind of shout out a few more. Uncharted 4, No Man's Skies, and the new Game of Thrones from Telltale, which actually comes out this year, which they just announced.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
So they're going to start doing that, and I'm going to get it. Like I'm probably already going to buy it here soon.
Telltale's doing really well.
I really love Telltale. Definitely. I mean, if you haven't played The Walking Dead, that's actually good games to get into.
That is a perfect game for non-gamers. Yeah. The Walking Dead, anything by Telltale.
Walking Dead or Wolf Among Us.
It's really split heads open with an axe or something.
No, it's really like story based, and it's it's kind of like RPG.
You make choices,
but it's very basic, so it's kind of a good way to get into it. So.
Yeah,
but I mean, right now, hopefully we'll see some more games that we've talked about today on the show. It looks like we're kind of getting close to the time, sadly.
Yeah,
4 hours went too quick.
Oh, I know, which is a good thing, because I was so nervous.
Oh, you guys did awesome. You did awesome.
Pat is the master, so coming from him, that means a lot.
You guys did awesome. It was a lot of fun. Now, just for our listeners, the next show that we're going to have, the next game and Movie Empire show is going to be on the 27th of December. So that's going to be right after Christmas. So that's going to be kind of cool because people can call in, talk about what they got for the holidays, what they played. Again, you guys threw out a lot of suggestions. The game website will be up soon.
Yes.
Get that up and running, and there'll be blogging and all kinds of fun stuff out there. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's without a doubt beat my expectations, and I knew this would really do well. And again, my sincere honesty. It's an honor to have you both here, and had a lot of fun. Learned a lot.
Yeah.
I got to get a game or two so I can talk with you guys next time.
No, definitely. No, I think you bring a lot of good insight. So.
Definitely.
Yeah, next show again, December 27th from 8 p.m. till 12 a.m. Eastern Time. 6 till 10 for our people here in the Intermountain West, and you'll have some guests lined up. We'll have some people lined up, and a lot of fun. And the giveaways were a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
Of course, more to it than that, but it's fun to get a little something on the side.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to thank you. And Arthur, you have any last words?
Thanks for listening.
As the rainbow comes across the sky, and Mr. Rogers.
Butterfly in the sky.
Oh, you went. Okay. Well, I went Mr. Rogers. You went.
That's okay.
Well, from Arthur and Alex and myself, and again, Chris, we want to thank you for being here. It was a lot of fun, and all the listeners out there, all the people that called in. So much fun. Have a great holiday weekend, what's left of it. Be safe. Weather's supposed to change in the morning. It's pretty warm out there, but it's supposed to change, get a little snowy and icy, so be careful. Snow. Larry Holcomb will be here next Saturday night. Nathan Couch will be here next Saturday night as well. NBC News is up on the other side, and then Jim Sumner on the other side of that. Take care, everybody. See you next Saturday night. Take care, be safe, and enjoy what's left of the holiday weekend.